Don Lemon was just arrested. This is an attack on journalism. No, this is an attack on people interrupting church services. He was a part of that mob that disrupted a St. Paul church service 2 weeks ago. He was merely covering the protest as a journalist. He claims he wasn't conspiring with this group. He was covering them. He knew something would happen, but he didn't know what. And when they got to the church, he stayed outside initially, but once he saw everyone went inside, he went in filming and asking questions like any good journalist would do. The questions Don were asking were very combative. It was clear he was on the side of the protesters, and I find it hard to believe he wasn't in on the planning for this. You can't break the law, violate the FACE Act, which makes it illegal to obstruct others' lawful exercising of their religion, and then pull out a camera and ask questions and say, actually, I'm an independent journalist. Was anyone with a camera in the Capitol on January 6th an independent journalist? Don is a well-established journalist. He was a high-profile CNN host for years and now has one of the largest independent journalist social media channels in the world, and him being and filming this protest is one of the main reasons you and the whole world know about this event. One of the reasons the DOJ can't pursue any charges against anyone. Other people were filming too. But this is the importance of journalism. You want eyes, cameras, and journalists within controversial events so they can share with the world what's happening, and now the administration is attacking that. No, I think the Biden administration pressuring social media companies to censor Americans during COVID for nothing other than their speech, that attacked journalism. The administration is not going after Don for being a journalist. They're going after Don for interrupting a church service. He was documenting an event, but it's just crazy. The DOJ tried to get a judge to sign off on charges against Don last week, but the judge refused. Well, now a grand jury was impaneled and they agreed probable cause exists for charges. Don will have his day in court. The DOJ's focus in Minnesota is crazy. Journalists covering protests arrested. 2 agents who shot Alex Preddy free. Well, they're on administrative leave, and the DOJ just opened a civil rights probe into the Preddy shooting, which could lead to charges. So let the system play out. Yeah, I think we're starting to lose trust in that system when a bunch of Trump puppets are in charge. Whatever that means, you have the right to be a journalist and protest as long as it doesn't interrupt another's right to exercise their religion. Imagine if this was Sean Hannity filming a protest interrupting prayer at a mosque. You'd be up in flames. I would have to look at the details, but this administration has been suing media outlets, threatening to take away broadcast license, restricting access to the Pentagon, and now this. Wake up. I'm awake. This is about preserving the sanctity of Sunday service. You wake up. Oh, I'm awake. We know you're woke. Yeah.
And all right, guys, we will get into that argument later, but we are live. Yo, this is Set with Set Media, guys, and I'm back with another one for you. All right, we're about to get into Trump signing this EO. Then we're going to do a media analysis because we definitely got to cover this whole Don Lemon getting arrested. Is it a violation of freedom of speech, or did he actually break a law here? Or, well, cross a line? And guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video, and let's get right into it.
So I have some incredible people, and this is a very exciting thing that we're doing, and it was fast. They've wanted to do it. I understand they've been here hundreds of times over the years trying to do it, and they're going to give you a little bit of history. Roger Penske, everybody knows he's a legend in many different things, but certainly in racing, he's won the Indianapolis 500 20 times. On the 18th time, I said, he's been a friend of mine for a long time, but on the 18th time, I said, I think I'm going to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom because, you know, how do you do that? Japan, Germany, Roger, right? Everybody, they want to win the Indy 500. They spend billions of dollars getting a car, and this guy wins it like every year. He won it so many times that they ended up buying the track. So,
and shout out to for starting us off. Appreciate the support, sis. I'm starting us off because I want to hit the call in. Hey, all right. You know what? I'll go ahead and I'll lower it from 100 to 80 for today then. I got you.
Now he owns a track. He owns a race. It says pretty good. Now he's won it, though. He won it 2 times since he got it. And it's a total of 20. And didn't you win the Daytona 500?
Yes.
How many times?
4 times.
That's all? That's terrible. I can't believe it. Anyway, if you win it once, it's like great. The guy's amazing. He's a genius and a real genius at cars and racing. And they are going to put up something that's really amazing. It's really having to do with our great 250th birthday, where we're having so many wonderful things. UFC is coming, as you know, in front of the White House with the building literally a stadium. We're going to have over 100,000 people. And this is going to have a lot of people. I won't even say how many people because I think it can set a record for racing. It's going to be very, very important. We're celebrating Greatness with American Motor Racing. That's going to be the name of the event. It's going to take place on August 21st through the 23rd. And it's going to be so exciting. And I love the racing. I don't have a lot of time to watch it, but I love the racing. And just before we start, I will say numbers came out this morning. They're phenomenal for the country.
Yeah, so apparently there's going to be a Freedom 250 Grand Prix. Yeah, I know. So there's the Indy 500, and now there's going to be a Freedom 250 Grand Prix. So for all the NASCAR guys, I mean, well, hey, man, I guess ain't nothing more American than that.
So we announced yesterday that for the first
Top
time in, I
tier
think, 28
Americanism.
years, America made more steel than Japan. Can you believe it? Japan's a big steel country. America made more steel than Japan. The numbers are record-setting numbers. Every one of our numbers are doing. We've never had anything like it. We have over $18 trillion coming into our country.
Yeah, our steel production has passed Japan the first time in 26 years. And like I said, this is mainly because of the tariffs on steel and aluminum, which is making people inside of America have to purchase American steel.
We're building thousands of plants and all sorts of businesses all over the United States. There's never been anything like it. $18 trillion investment. So we have over $18 trillion being invested in the United States of America. The record was $3 trillion 10 years ago, not by us, by another country. And we're going to do 18, and I think the 18 is going to go higher. We're just looking at 11 months. The 12th month hasn't come in yet, but it's going to bring us over 18, maybe even hit 20. So you have 18 to $20 trillion coming in, and we've never had anything like it. We have,
and that's mainly due to the promises of manufacturing, all the jets all these Middle Eastern countries are buying. And then, of course, let's not forget, well, the reshoring of manufacturing. And oh, Monty, well, shout out Mr. Paramedic. He's asking, forgot the raise. Who's the Fed chair? I got you. It is Kevin Warsh, or Walsh, not Warsh. Yeah, Warsh. Kevin Warsh, Kevin Maxwell Warsh. He is an American financier and bank executive who served as a member of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors from 2006 to 2011. So he has some experience here. And okay, Stanford University graduate as well.
Record we just set, as you know. The S&P 500 just set a new record, 7,000. Nobody thought that was possible in this quick a time. They thought maybe at the end of 4 years or 5 years or 6 years. But we did it in the first year. And we had 48 stock market highs, Roger. So Roger's a big beneficiary because he has a lot of stock. But anybody that has stock, including people with 401ks. So the economy has never been like this. It was just announced that crime is at an all-time low. Best numbers on crime in the recorded history of our country, and the lowest numbers of murders in the history of our country that we have. Recorded history goes back 125 years. That's not bad. And a lot of that is because of the fact that we have a closed border. We've taken out thousands and thousands of criminals and murderers and drug dealers and everything else. And we've either brought them back to their country, or in some cases we have to put them in our jails because we don't want to have them come back. And so we don't want to just bring them back to their country and then they maybe come back. Despite our border, they're pretty sneaky, pretty smart. So we're doing things that nobody's ever seen before. The country is really in great shape. We have a large armada, flotilla, you can call it whatever you want, heading toward Iran right now. Even larger than what we had in Venezuela. It's still in front of Venezuela. The Venezuelan situation, the leadership is doing a very good job. We're very happy. And
yeah, we're bringing out our armada. Iran is running military drills, practice military drills. Like, let's be real, sounds like they're preparing. So yes, everybody's getting ready for an inevitable strike on Iran. Well, I would like to say inevitable, but nothing's 100%. So we'll see, but it is looking highly likely that we will be striking Iran. For what reason? To be honest with you, I mean, I guess they did hold executions yesterday. Well, they did hold executions yesterday. So yes, there were protesters that were executed, and especially those who were caught working with the so-called Mossad. So apparently they broke Trump's promise on that. Negotiations fell through on nuclear weapons. Apparently Iran is not willing to either give up their nuclear weapons or their nuclear capabilities that we don't know if they're doing or not. And they're also not willing to give up their missile defense system, because now we say it's all about the nukes, but also we're trying to get Iran to give up their missiles as well. and Iran was willing to give up the nukes, which they don't have, but let's say the enriched uranium, well, they want to give that up, but they're not willing to be defenseless like they did old boy Gaddafi in Libya.
We're getting along very, very well.
That's understandable.
And we're inviting countries of the world very shortly. They're going to be starting to take the oil. We're going to be heading that with the country. And it's worked out really well. We're now sending actually a larger number of ships to Iran. And hopefully we'll make a deal. If we do make a deal, that's good. If we don't make a deal, we'll see what happens. But this is going to be exciting. So I'm going to ask, and he really is a legend. He's a great man. I've known him for a tremendously long time. I refuse to say we were both young. Now we're both a little older. We refuse to say old, but we're a little older. But Roger Penske is the chairman, as you know, of Penske Corporation.
Oh, and shout out to my man Jet. He says maybe now Western Pennsylvania can go back to being the steel capital of the world again. Yeah, I mean, look, all steel production in America has went up across the board. Like everybody's producing more steel because of the tariffs, and you know, these guys who want to build new houses, buildings, and all that good stuff, instead of buying it from China, they have to buy it inside of America. All these car part manufacturers got to buy their steel now from inside of America. So this was really driving up our production because we're driving up the demand of our steel due to the tariffs. I mean, hey, the 55% worked.
He's got everything you can imagine.
Shout out to my man Jet.
Mostly, I think, to do with automotive. And I'd like to ask him to say a few words about the event, because this is going to be, they're putting everything behind it, and I think it's going to be really exciting. Roger, please.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This is a really amazing time for us as a company to support the 250th anniversary for the country. And there's no better way for us to bring automotive and speed into the DC area and to have the opportunity to be able to compete here with our Indy cars. As you know, we own the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we're taking that history of over 100 years and the speed and what's taken place there with the different manufacturers and bringing it here to this race will be amazing. Certainly the Freedom 250, when you think about it, it's just a byproduct of what the president has done during this year. And this will be event.
Oh, guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen. But all right, though, let's get past these guys and let's get over to questions here, because that's what we're really here for, the questions.
I love this president.
Oh, and shout out to my man Monty. He says, but said tariffs don't work. That's what the liberals said. I mean, yeah, I mean, they kind of forgot the whole reason for tariffs was to protect domestic industry. But I mean, hey, that just left their head completely for some strange reason.
He's bringing professional sports
Literally the history
to our
of tariffs.
capital. And again, August 21st to 23rd, you talk about the economic impact. By the time all the reporters get done telling the story, there's not going to be a hotel room available in this city on that weekend, because everybody's going to want to be here. People that maybe have wanted to see an IndyCar race their whole life are now going to have an opportunity to come to their capital, celebrate 250, and see an IndyCar race for free. And they're going to be able to see it on the National Mall. And wherever you put down your lawn chair and watch this race for free, you're going to be staring at the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial. And I'm sure there's going to be fireworks this weekend too. I'm sure of that. And if you need a permit, you can get one from the Terrier Show. So anyway, it's absolutely incredible. And congratulations to Sean, Penske organization, Fox Sports, everybody for putting together. This is going to be a great celebration for America.
Thank you very much. And you're doing a fantastic job. Could I just ask Bud Danker, he's the president of Penske Corporation, to say a few words, please?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. You know, Eric Shanks and I from Fox had this dream, and just last July, and could it ever be possible to bring a race to our nation's capital to celebrate our country's history? And everybody said there's no way. It's impossible. How do you put a race on at 190 miles an hour in a city like Washington, D.C.? I came here, I walked this area for a while, I found a racetrack on the Capitol grounds, up against a lot of meetings and couldn't get the kind of support we need. So within a week, Secretary Duffy and we put this together with the president, didn't we? And now we have a race here on our city property, on the national properties that is going to celebrate America. The word free shouldn't be overridden, because we are going to have a free event here. People come out and celebrate our country's history. I also want to thank Mayor Bowser. She has been a great partner in this process as well too. So I know, Mr. President, she's a great supporter of what you've done here in the city as well too, and we thank her for this. But we're going to have an amazing event. We're going to make everybody in this country proud. We want everybody to come out.
I mean, hey, man, look, if you're a NASCAR fan, I mean, hey, look, this is for you.
Roger, no auto pen. I didn't use an auto pen. Here, Roger, take that.
I will.
Thank you. Oh, that's great.
Here you go, man. I don't want to sign each letter. You know, they sign each letter. They hand pens. I used to watch these presidents. One letter. You got to see what it looks like at the end. Never looks too good. Here, Rachel, take that. It's for your team.
Thank you.
Congratulations. This is really exciting.
Thank you.
All right. And the White House, or well, Washington, D.C. now has their own NASCAR event. Huh. I mean, sounds interesting. I don't know the full in and outs of it. I know Monty's about to look into it. Shout out Monty. He sent and said, I think we should go to the American 250. If you're down, I'm looking into it. Hey, man, hey, I'm closer to there than you, so I'll be down, man. Hey, let's go. I'm all for watching cars go round and around a track at 200 miles per hour. You know, maybe see a couple crash outs. Hope nobody dies, but I don't know. It's not fun without a couple crash outs. I'm gonna be real with you.
No, but we talk about it, and I've been following them, and I don't want to ask him that question.
There we go.
You have any questions?
On your Fed chair nominee, since you just brought it up, did Kevin Warsh commit to you that he will push to cut interest rates if he is confirmed?
No, but we talk about it, and I've been following them, and I don't want to ask him that question. I think it's inappropriate, probably would be allowed, but I want to keep it nice and pure. But he certainly wants to cut rates.
Hey, shout out to my man Jet. He says, Monty, you mean the same liberals that when Trump said Tylenol bad, they popped them like Tic Tacs? Yeah, that was wild. RFK Jr. and Trump said, look, man, maybe y'all pregnant women shouldn't be taking this Tylenol. Liberal pregnant women just guzzling them down. I'm like, but why? Like, I know you hate the man, but you know, everything he says isn't wrong. I'm sorry, but not everything he says is wrong. I just want to let you guys know that.
I've been watching him for a long time.
Senator Thomas,
Did you have any concerns about his hawkish history of pushing for rate hikes?
He's going to want to do the same thing. I think that, yeah, I've had times when I think you've had to really have rate hikes too. But he's very smart, very good, strong, young, pretty young. And I think he's going to do that. I mean, he was the central casting guy that people wanted. Kevin was great. I tell you what, I met numerous people. Every one of them were fantastic, really fantastic. I wanted to keep Kevin here. And I thought that I called Kevin 1, Kevin 2. And we have, I said, it's going to be a Kevin.
Yeah, like I said, so Kevin Walsh, you know, he's actually been in, you know, the financing game for a minute. So he's an American financier and business exec, served as a member of the Federal. So like I said, he has experience in the Federal Reserve on the board of governors, but now he's going to be Fed chair. And I mean, one interesting, I guess, fun fact, he's married to Jane Lander, and she's an American billionaire, heiress, and businesswoman. So yeah, my man got big money, my friends.
But, you know, Kevin really has been fantastic at the White House. You all know him, you know him very well.
But all right, though, shout out to my man Monty. Said there's also a UFC fight as well. Oh, yeah, I heard that one. Oh, man, I'm excited for that. I'm not sure if they got the ticket out yet, but hey, I'll see.
And so we have Kevin W.
Are you concerned, Mr. President, about the confirmation hearings? We've heard
No.
Senator Tillis.
No.
You think with the DOJ investigation?
This is in the whole country. I would say that this was the, you know, perfect candidate. This was not a surprise or anything. This was the man that's most qualified. Top student, best schools, everything was like perfect. The youngest person ever to serve on the Fed. Got the whole package. Looks don't mean anything, but he's got the look, right? Roger, looks don't mean anything, but if they have a look, it's okay.
Yeah, he's about like 55 years old. So yeah, when he was on the Fed, I mean, he was about like, what, 40? Okay.
But he's got the whole package, and I think he's going to do a great job, and he loves the country.
Mr. President, why are you
Please, in the back, yes.
Are you giving Iran any kind of deadline to make a deal before potentially taking
Only
military
they
action?
know for sure.
Have you communicated that to
Yeah,
them directly?
I have.
Mr. President, do you have a timeline for when you're going to pull back potentially the federal presence there?
Oh, we'll see how it all works out. You know, they have to float someplace. They might as well float near Iran. But it's a rough situation going on. So I stopped 837 people, as you know, last week from being hung. They were going to hang 830. It was all set. And I mean, I'm looking at the people behind me.
Oh, and shout out to Toe. She says, Jet, come on now. You know, when he says stand, they hear sit. That is the cognitive symptom of TDS. They can't help it. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Toe. Oh, and well, once again, another small fact about this, because I already know the Israel radical guys, who everything is Israel. Yes. Warsh is, yeah, he is Jewish. Born in Albany, New York, to a Jewish family, the youngest of three.
And they said, what kind of
And there ain't nothing wrong with that, but I already know the guys on the internet are going to poke all types of fun at that.
And I mean, I'm looking at the people behind me. They say, what kind of racing's a lot nicer than that. Right? They were going to hang 837 people. And I told them, if you do it, you're going to pay a price like nobody's ever paid before. And they pulled back. I appreciated that. A lot of people are being killed. So we'll see what happens. I can say this, they do want to make a deal.
Mr. President, about Virginia, actually, Virginia flipped the governor's, and now they're looking at 50 proposals to increase taxes. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's
I covered that yesterday. So yeah, the governor of Virginia was elected on affordability. She's made things more unaffordable and then came up with some pretty outrageous laws, some pretty racist laws, to be real with you. So it's kind of funny. I did say when they elected Abigail Spanberger, I was like, look, for anybody out there that really voted for a Dem based on affordability, God bless your heart, man. Because I mean, you're a sucker. I'm sorry, but you're a sucker. They literally run the most unaffordable places in America, and you voted for one of them on affordability. I mean, come on now.
I think a lot of people will leave Virginia.
Oh, guys, let's make sure we double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen.
I saw that. Look, Glenn was a friend of mine, Glenn Youngkin, and worked so hard on cutting taxes. This woman came in and in one swoop, she raised everything up higher than it ever was. I don't understand it. I mean, people voted for Democrat, but she came in and she raised, and I'll work with her like I work with everyone else. But she came into Virginia, raised everything to a point like taxes that nobody ever even heard of before. And I don't understand. How do people get elected with this kind of philosophy? This is only in the
Bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. She put so many new taxes in. She literally made things more unaffordable in Virginia. And like, no, really, it's kind of crazy because like you could tell there's a bit of lamination going on, like there's a bit of grief going on in Virginia because they're not really talking that much. They're like, yeah, well, you're right. We voted for the governor on the terms of affordability, on the guidelines of it. And what did she do? Made things more unaffordable. Oh, and pretty much disenfranchised white contractors. I mean, wow.
modern age. You know, I grew up and I've always heard politicians will cut taxes, everybody's.
Oh, and shout out to my man Jet. He says, if anything, get John Jones out of retirement, it would be he would be whooping someone's ass on the White House grounds. I mean, bro, get Alex Pereira and John Jones. If we can get those two in there, man, I'll probably pay any price for that ticket.
Screaming, we're going to cut taxes. I cut taxes. I gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, in the great big beautiful bill. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime.
Yeah, but all that don't mean nothing if in those blue states they just continuously raise your taxes. I mean, that's probably why a lot of people in blue states are still having an affordability crisis, and red states too. But I'm gonna be real with you, we're paying like a 30% difference compared to you guys in different areas, a 60% difference when it comes to childcare. So I mean, bro, Trump could do all the tax cuts he wants. It don't mean nothing if your governor and your mayors are raising taxes on y'all asses. Like nothing we could do, nothing Trump could do.
Interest deduction.
Y'all gonna blame it on
when
Trump.
Somebody buys a car, they can deduct the interest if they borrow money. That's the biggest thing in terms of the car business, right?
American made ones.
Correct. So we have, I give tax cuts, and they give tax increases. I don't know how they get elected. They get elected because they cheat. You want to know the truth? If they didn't cheat, they'd have no chance. They have horrible policy, transgender for everyone. They have the little thing about open borders so that the world's prison population and mental hospitals can be emptied into our country. It's just a crazy, men playing in women's sports. Roger, are you a fan of men playing in women's sports? Only as a bettor. If you'd like to bet. You're not a big fan, I don't think so. I don't want to get him in trouble, but I think he joins in 99% of, they say it's an 80-20 issue. I think it's maybe 99. It's 99-1.
Mr. President, why are you suing your own administration and the IRS? Why are you suing?
Who are you with?
I'm with ABC News.
You're a loud person, very loud.
Yeah.
Let somebody else have a chance.
Can you answer the
Wait,
question?
wait.
Why are you suing
ABC fake,
IRS?
ABC fake news.
You're suing.
Go ahead. I didn't
Can you
call
answer?
on you. Go ahead, please. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you think the upcoming talks?
ABC, buddy.
Now, if you want to get the background on that, check out this nice little video right here. Oh, and shout out to Toe. She says, yeah, she screwed her voters 10 ways to son without lube. I mean, bro, it's sad. It is really sad what she did. It's like, wow. And I hope the Democratic base take notes. It's like, if you're really going to vote on these guys on the guidelines of affordability, bro, you're going to the wrong people. The modern day Democrat does not care about affordability. You're thinking about the 90s Dems. These are not the same Dems. I need to let the Democrat base know you are not dealing with the same Dems that made things affordable, that was out here balancing budgets. These are not the same people. Most of them right now, it seems like a lot of them are socialists. Well, at least the most popular of them.
It's true.
But, oh, check out this video.
Trump just announced he's suing the IRS for $10 billion. He's suing the American taxpayer. The president's suing the taxpayer. Does this sound normal to you? Does September 2020 sound normal to you when the New York Times leaked Trump's tax returns against his will? Oh yeah, like the returns that show that he paid no federal income taxes at all in 10 of the previous 15 years because of debt, losses, and manipulation, like $26 million in secret consulting fees, much of which went to his daughter. Look, he took advantage of tax breaks and loopholes like anyone else would. The real point here, though, is releasing someone's tax returns against their will is illegal and a major breach of privacy. Yeah, no shit, which is why the man who leaked the records, Charles Littlejohn, was sentenced to 5 years in prison in 2024. And guess what? Charles was a private contractor hired by the IRS, so he wasn't an official IRS employee. Yeah, but the IRS can still be held liable, even though the leaker was a contractor, for failing to establish appropriate safeguards and protocols to protect confidential taxpayer information. I mean, they should have been a little more careful on who gets to access the president's file. Okay, gotcha, cool, whatever. Do you not see, though, the conflict of interest? Trump is now president. He's suing an agency he oversees. Trump loyalist and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is the IRS commissioner. This will play out in a court of law in the Southern District of Florida. Scott Bessent doesn't get to decide things. But we can assume they'll try to settle the case, and the people who sign off on a settlement this large are in the DOJ, likely those Trump appointed, the Assistant Attorney General for the Tax Division and Associate Attorney General. I mean, this screams impropriety. Let the process play out. Maybe it'll go to trial. Maybe if there's a settlement, those appointed by Trump will recuse themselves, but Trump is allowed to sue the government just like anyone else. This is about accountability. This is the most blatant form of corruption I've ever seen. The president is literally suing to take $10 billion from you and me, from the taxpayer. You think the man who's already made billions off the office deserves another $10 billion? Well, maybe he'll donate the money, but this is about accountability to protect against future abuse. Get off your knees, bro. You are slopping quite hard today. Whoa!
Yeah, and that's where that stands. So, it is kind of weird. I'm just like, suing them for 10 billion. I mean, maybe they'll settle, for way less as they usually do, but it is a bit wild though. It is a bit wild. But to also give the right side of the argument, I mean, it also is about accountability. Like the IRS just can't be picking and choosing who tax returns they want to release, or when there's a leak, they got to take responsibility for that. And they didn't. They kind of got off scot-free, but the leaker took all the heat. Which he should have. Which he should have went to jail for, and he did. But the IRS also should have took some accountability as well.
Do you think the upcoming talks between Russia and Ukraine stand a chance without U.S. envoy Witkoff and Jared Kushner there?
I think they stand a chance. We've been trying. I've ended 8 wars. All of them I thought were going to be maybe tougher than this one. But Zelensky and Putin hate each other, and it makes it very difficult. But I think we're getting very close to getting a settlement. Hundreds of thousands of people, mostly soldiers, have been killed. Last week, they lost 29,000 people. Last month, they lost 29,000 soldiers. Can you believe that, fellas? 29,000. You lose one race driver, and it's a big deal. 29,000.
Ooh, and shout out to my man Monty. He says, sounds like me. It's literally just come up and take a seat. So we gotta get good seats for the race. Agreed.
1,000 soldiers in 1 month, 27,000 the month before. I think that we have a good chance of getting it settled. Yeah, ma'am, please.
Mr. President, on the Warsh nomination, what is your strategy for getting past the hold that Senator Tillis has on this process? He said he won't allow.
Well, that's, that kind of thinking is why he's no longer a senator. He's going to be out of office. It's too bad. I always liked Senator Tillis, actually, but he did some things that were not smart. And whatever, I mean, if he doesn't approve, we'll just have to wait till somebody comes in that will approve it, right? So that's it. But I saw that he wants to be an obstructionist, but we have a lot of obstructionists. I've had a lot, and we've created the best presidency maybe ever. Yeah.
If Iran doesn't make a deal, is your plan to replicate there what you just did in Venezuela?
I don't want to say that. I don't want to talk about anything having to do with what I'm doing militarily, but we have a tremendously powerful fleet there. We have the most powerful ships in the world. We have the most powerful military by far in the world. We showed that on numerous occasions. I mean, I rebuilt the military in my term. If I didn't do, I wouldn't, I think, be able to say that, but I rebuilt the military, the entire United States military in my first term. Yeah. And now we're building it bigger, better, stronger than ever before. I'm adding to it. We're adding something called a battleship. You would find this interesting. The old-fashioned, beautiful battleships. And we're adding up to 25 of them. Each battleship is 100 times more powerful than the battleships of the 1940s, those big, powerful ones with the guns, because of what the ships carry. But we're going to build 10. And then we'll see how we like them, and we're going to go and do another 15 after that. Could be up to 25 battleships, 100 times more powerful. Can you imagine that? And it's peace through strength. We don't want to use them, but if we have to use them, we will.
Mr. President, on the Fed, should the DOJ continue with its investigation into Jay Powell? That seems to be a sticking point for Senator Tillis.
Well, he's got a building that, I build buildings, and I build them under budget, ahead of schedule. I build them, but they're within reason always. And this is a small little complex that's costing billions of dollars, most expensive job per square foot ever built. And it's a little complex. It's a little Fed complex. I built the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue, and I built it for around $200 million. And it's bigger than that. They're spending many times that amount to do a renovation of a building. I've heard numbers as high as $4 billion. $4 billion to build a building. I could have renovated that building and fixed it up, made it beautiful for $25 million. They're going to spend close to $4 billion on it. So
now it is funny. Now, if they're investigating him for overspending, they really can't catch him up on that. But what they can catch him up on is if any of this spending went to other things besides reconstructing the Fed building. Or, well, I guess rejuvenating it.
It's either gross incompetence or it's theft. Somebody's.
Oh, and shout out to my man Monty. Says UF fight might be mighty exclusive, so I'll watch out for tickets and how to get them. Shout out to my man Monty. And shout out to for coming in. She says if he wins, I'll bet he does the same with that money that he is doing with his president's salary. Donate it. We'll see. It depends if they actually give him the whole $10 billion. Or at least donate half of it, and we should do a members only live for it. Yeah, we can try that one. Why not? I mean, it'll definitely work out on Rumble.
And money, because you can't spend. It's more per square, and you have half a building there. You have the structure, you have the exterior skin that they're not changing much. They're building a building, and they're spending almost. I mean, I'm hearing numbers of between $3 and $4 billion. It's the most expensive structure ever built per square foot. So he's either incompetent or he or somebody is a crook. And we'll find out.
Mr. President. Mr. President, on Minneapolis, Governor Tim Walz recently likened the conflict on the ground to Fort Sumter, sort of imply that this is the beginning of a civil war. Do you agree with that characterization? Do you feel like there's a civil war
The
brewing?
governor said that?
Governor.
Well, does he know what Fort Sumter was, or do you think somebody wrote it out for him? No, this is, I was elected on law and order. I was elected on a strong border. We had a border that allowed 25 million people to come in. Many were murderers. They murdered people. We had 11,888 murderers. We had prisons, including Venezuela, but Venezuela opened its prisons. So did the Congo. The Congo in Africa opened its prisons and dumped people into our country. Many countries did that. I would have done that if I were leading a country. I would have dumped the prisoners into our country. We had open borders. We had all these things. I was elected on law and order. I was elected on the economy. I was elected on a lot of reasons. Because when I took over, we inherited a mess. Prices were too high. Inflation was the highest it was in 48 years. I say ever, but the media always corrects me by saying it's only 48 years. I think 48 years almost sounds worse. But when I was elected to do a job. And one of the big things I was elected to do is law and order. We now have the lowest crime rate in the history of our country. We have the lowest murder rate in the history of our country. We have Washington, D.C., which was a dangerous place to walk, is now a totally safe city. You can walk with your husband or your wife. You can walk with your children right down the middle of the city. Nothing's going to happen. We did a great job. We had the National Guard. We have soldiers. We have people that nobody's going to mess with. And we've taken out. Remember, it's not just that. In Washington, we've removed over 2,000 criminals. And, if you look at the numbers, a very small percentage of your population, 2%, 3% of your population causes 90% of the crime. So when you move, it's amazing how that works. But the criminals go over and over and over again. So 2 to 3% of your population can cause over 90% of your crime. So it's not that complex. We moved 2,000 people out of Washington. We brought them back to their countries where they came from. They came through open borders by sleepy Joe Biden. And I will tell you, Washington is safe. If you look at New Orleans.
Well, guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get more people in the conversation by double tapping that screen.
As you know, we went there about 4 weeks ago. I was with the mayor of New Orleans last night. He was at the premiere, and she was at the premiere. She was great. I believe she's a Democrat. She came over. She thanked me so much. She said crime is down more than 50% in just a few weeks. And you couldn't even walk down the street in New Orleans. It's so bad. And now they let us in there, and she is thanking me so much, so profusely. She was great last night. I'd do that if I were a Democrat. I'd say call Trump and let them do what they do. But we remove people, criminals from the cities, and they become safe cities. If you look at Minnesota, Minneapolis, we have crime down there because we took out thousands of people, despite all the mess and everything else. But do these people really want to have rapists? Do they really want to have drug dealers and people from prisons and murderers? Do they really want to have them in the community? It's really insurrectionists and agitators.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing, though. If you ask any Dem, like, oh, do you want pedophiles in your area, Dosa? Of course not. Then you have to look at them crazy, like, well, while also protecting these illegal immigrants or these undocumented immigrants, you're also protecting the pedophiles as well, the criminals, the one that might have, committed a murder. You're protecting them as well by getting in the way of ICE, by obstructing ICE. So it's really hard to listen to you guys complain about pedophiles when you're out there protecting pedophiles like right now. And you think all you're protecting is, the undocumented immigrants who haven't committed no crime, but no, you're also protecting them as well.
And they're paid. And you can tell a lot of reasons. Number one, they're professionals, with their mouth. But they're also, you look at the signs are all professionally made. They have signs that are gorgeous. In fact, I want to get the sign because I need a lot of signs for different things. And I want to find out whoever does their signs, they do a beautiful job. Everybody has this beautiful sign with brand new wood. It's like leather panels. They have a leather handle on the bottom. These are not people. These are people that are handed signs. And we know pretty much, we're getting very close to it, but we know pretty much who's funding this stuff. These are paid insurrectionists, paid troublemakers. But I was elected by a landslide. I won every swing state. I won the popular vote by a lot. I won everything. And I was elected by a landslide on law and order and on strong borders. We had a border that was so bad, so open, where 25 million people came in over a period of 4 years, and now nobody comes in. Nobody even tries to come in. And I can only say, I think we'll say it very plainly, elections have consequences. The people want law and order. And we have a silent majority. You know, we have a silent majority of people. They don't go and riot and everything else, but they like what we're doing. They like having a safe city. I get calls every single day. Every person I see working in the White House, people I don't know, many people work here, and they say, "I'd like to thank you, sir. Why? You've made Washington so great. We walk to work." They walk to work. You people know it very well. You walk to work now. You used to take an Uber or a taxi or something, and you even felt like in danger there.
I mean, you know, there's a lesson there. You know, when you work with the government and you don't try to fight it and go against it for your radical reasons, you know, your city gets safer, your state gets safer. But then when you want to go against them, try to trap them in, assault them, and all these crazy things, it seems like your city becomes a more dangerous place to live. Minneapolis. I mean, come on now. I think this would be pretty obvious to get at this point. But all right, though, let's get over to this whole Don Lemon fiasco. And then when I get through this one and the Kristi Noem Fox News interview, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in the co-host Monty.
And a former colleague of mine and friend, Don Lemon, has been taken into custody by federal agents, according to his attorney. It comes after Lemon covered the protest earlier this month, dozens of anti-ICE protesters rushing inside of a church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Now, Don has said that he was just there as a journalist, photographing the incident as a journalist, asking questions as a journalist after the protesters went in, and has been very clear he was not part of the protest group. In a statement, Don Lemon's attorney says, quote, "This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court." Now, I just want to quickly let you know, Don Lemon spoke with Allison Camerata, another former colleague and friend from CNN, who now works for Scripps News, about the church incident. Let's go to what she told us just moments ago.
So he said that he was covering a protest. This is the St. Paul.
Yeah, but here's the problem. I mean, and it's kind of crazy how now I wonder why in the video he kept saying, "Oh, I don't know what's going on. Oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm just here. I'm just here." He's lying. He was obviously lying. He obviously knew what was going on. And I'm be real with you, even when he's seen what was actually going on, I mean, like, bro, you shouldn't have walked in there and joined them. You should have stayed outside, or you should have told him, "Look, don't go in there. I'm gonna have to call the police." It's like, Don, you supposed to honestly be responsible. Like, you're supposed to be a responsible citizen before journalism, but okay. And I can't even sure if you can really call this journalism if you're disturbing or trespassing on private property. I mean, are you serious? You're disturbing the place of worship and you're trespassing on private property. I mean, it's a pretty open and shut case here.
Church, the protesters had reason to believe that the pastor there was an ICE agent. And so Don, the way Don described it to me is that he was doing what we do. He was covering a protest. He wasn't conspiring with them. He knew that they were going to be protesting something. He wasn't in on their plans, he says, beforehand, which is one of the things that the DOJ has suggested. And then he stayed outside, he says. The protesters went inside the church. And when he realized that the protest was unfolding inside the church, he then went inside. And so, you know, obviously our legal experts can describe whether that's trespassing on private property, but either way, that's a misdemeanor. And, you know, the idea that Don Lemon as a journalist has now been arrested is just in an entirely different category.
If you live anywhere here in the red circled area and you have an old struggling air conditioning or heating system, right now we have an offer going on.
Whoa.
Now, I have some more breaking news. We have just learned that another independent journalist who is very popular here and very well known here in Minneapolis and in Minnesota, Georgia Fort, has also been arrested. We have now seen video of her inside of her home telling us that there are FBI agents outside of her door demanding that she come out. She said that they had a warrant, that they had gone to a grand jury. So this is brand new breaking news. She is describing what is happening, saying that the federal agents say that they had a warrant, that there was a grand jury involved, and that she must come out to be arrested. She said that she spoke to her attorney. Her attorney advised her to go with them. And that is exactly what she did, and that she was taken to the Whipple building. So now there are 2 journalists who have been arrested by the FBI, by federal agents, after the incident that happened at a church. Joining me now are CNN's Kara Scannell and our chief media analyst, Brian Stelter. So Kara, what are we learning about the situation with Don Lemon?
Well, Sarah, we do know that Don Lemon was arrested last night in Los Angeles in the 11 o'clock hour local time. I'm told by a source that he was in a hotel lobby on his way to an event related to covering the Grammy Awards. And that is when he was arrested by the agents and taken into custody. It is expected he will appear in.
Oh, whoops. I'm on the wrong profile. That's why I got a commercial. I was over here tripping. Whoops-a-daisy.
Former CNN anchor and
But all right,
former
guys.
colleague of
All
mine
right.
and friend, Don.
But to get my current thoughts on this right now is that, bro, he walked himself into this. Like I said, he disturbed a place of worship, and I'm be real with you, he also was trespassing on private property. And I mean, they weren't there to worship. They was there to sit there and really just disturb the people around him. And I'm be honest with you, I don't think you could do that. And then here's the thing. He tried to walk in and say, well, I was just being a journalist. No, you weren't. You was also being a disturber as well. Trust me. There was a guy with a wild ass beard walking around yelling in people's faces, also filming them as well, also talking to them as well. Here is you in the pastor's face while all these people are just yelling in his church, disturbing his congregation. And then you're going like, oh, why can't I be here? Oh, don't touch me because this is part of my First Amendment rights to disturb your church and be in your face without your permission. It's like, wow. Wow, way to take advantage of the pacifist nature of Christians.
Lemon has been taken into custody by federal agents, according to his attorney. It comes after Lemon covered the protest earlier this month, dozens of anti-ICE protesters rushing inside of a church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Now, Don has said that he was just there as a journalist, photographing the incident as a journalist, asking questions as a journalist after the protesters went in, and has been very clear he was not part of the protest group. In a statement, Don Lemon's attorney says, quote, this unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. Now, I just want to quickly let you know, Don Lemon spoke with Allison Camerata, another former colleague and friend from CNN, who now works for Scripps News, about the church incident. Let's go to what she told us just moments ago.
So he said that he was covering a protest. This is the St. Paul church. The protesters had reason to believe that the pastor there was.
Here's the thing, when right wingers cover protests, I mean, let's be real. Even that dude, Jake Lang, he knew better than to walk inside of a mosque, yelling inside of a mosque, like throwing bacon in these guys' faces. He knew better than to do that inside of a mosque. At least he had that respect, or at least he knew better, at least. When white ringers go in, to get into these ICE protests or the No Kings protests, it's not like we're walking inside these protesters' houses and getting in their face and yelling at them. No, we're staying outside. We're staying outside with them on public property. So why the hell is anybody defending this? This is not how you do journalism. And I mean, especially not how you respectfully ask people a question. I mean, look, he's in their church he's in his church disturbing them, trying to get questions out of them, acting like he's not a part of this.
An ICE agent. And so Don, the way Don described it to me is that he was doing what we do. He was covering a protest. He wasn't conspiring with them. He knew that.
Nah, shout out Monty, because I was tripping. I was like, wait, you say, really? You can't afford YT Premium anymore? Nah, I was on my second channel. Yes, I do have a second channel now. One got 5 subscribers on it, but shh, I ain't tell you about it.
they were going to be protesting something. He wasn't in on their plan, he says, beforehand, which is one of the things that the DOJ has suggested. And then he stayed outside, he says.
Really?
Protesters went inside the church. And when he realized that the protest was unfolding inside the church, he then went inside. And so, obviously our legal experts can describe whether that's trespassing on private property, but either way, that's a misdemeanor. And, the idea that Don Lemon as a journalist has now been arrested is just in an entirely different category.
Oh, and shout out Toe. She said, nope, it goes against the Klan Act. Oh, I'm going to have to look that one up.
Now, I have some more breaking news. We have just learned that another independent journalist who is very popular here and very well known here in Minneapolis and in Minnesota, Georgia Fort, has also been arrested. We have now seen video of her inside of her home telling us that there are FBI agents outside of her door demanding that she come out. She said that they had a warrant. They had gone to a grand jury. So this is brand new breaking news. She is describing what is happening, saying that the federal agents say that they had a warrant, that there was a grand jury involved, and that she must come out to be arrested. She said that she spoke to her attorney. Her attorney advised her to go with them. And that is exactly what she did, and that she was taken to the Whipple building. So now there are two journalists who have been arrested by the FBI, by federal agents, after the incident that happened at a church. Joining me now are CNN's Kara Scannell and our chief media analyst, Brian Stelter. So Kara, what are we learning about?
And all right, guys, I went ahead and found a footage of the lady that they were talking about right here. So this is who they were talking about here. This lady, apparently they caught up to her. She's out there just looking. There's the federal agents out there waiting for her, telling her to come out. That's tough. You didn't think you'd get caught. Yeah, you cooked. Ain't nothing you can do, sis. They came here for you.
There's kids in the house. You guys have not been really friendly in the community. And to me, this seems a little, can I finish, sir? Can I finish?
Are you bargaining with them?
Can I finish? Get your phone. This seems a little bit aggressive to have all these cars in our cul-de-sac.
Bruh.
2 or 3 agents and
now she's hitting them with a Karen. Like, look, sir, I know you're here to arrest me, but it is highly unnecessary to have all these cars in our cul-de-sac. What if my neighbor's coming back and they want to park their car? This is highly, like, do you not just care about people wanting to park their cars? It's like, woman, we're here to arrest you.
I saw the one disappear to the back.
What am I hearing?
So to me, this is a little aggressive to just serve a warrant. Slide the warrant. Let me see the warrant.
She's Karening out. Karen moment here, guys. Weak. She's hitting them with the Karen. Okay, that's funny.
The situation with Don Lemon.
Well, Sarah, we do know that Don Lemon was arrested last night in Los Angeles in the 11 o'clock hour local time. I'm told by a source that he was in a hotel lobby on his way to an event related to covering the Grammy Awards. And that is when he was arrested by the agents and taken into custody. It is expected he will appear in court in Los Angeles this morning and that the charges against him will be unsealed. Now, as we've been discussing, Lemon was part of a larger attempt by the Justice Department to bring charges against a number of people, some from the protesting group last week, and that the judge had rejected that complaint against some of the individuals, including Don Lemon. He had suggested if DOJ wanted to go forward, they might want to look toward going before a grand jury. So that would follow the process that played out, where the judge did not believe that there was sufficient evidence, but if a grand jury did, then that would be the route that the Justice Department could take. It's possible possible that they have returned an indictment, though we have not yet seen the document. We have not seen any updates from the court about what this instrument is that Lemon was charged in, and specifically what he was charged with. We do know, though, that some of the protesters who were there, who were not journalists, but the protesters were charged with going into the church and disrupting this religious service, violating laws related to that. So it's possible that that will be the similar charge that Lemon will face. All this will be.
And you know, so funny. I know Megyn Kelly had her moment about this. Actually, we'll go to that Megyn Kelly clip right now, man. Let's go ahead and play that clip.
I want everyone in jail. I want all of them arrested.
You are a fake Christian.
This is the red line, and they've crossed it.
Oh, yeah, before I start this video, shout out to my man Jet. He said he incites violence, then puts a cam in the middle of it to record the outcome and calls it journalism. Yeah. I mean, that is wild. Yeah, and calls it journalism. He gonna get passed around like a Tootsie Roll now, bro. Like a Tootsie Roll. Yo, nah, Don Lemon, nah, he don't need to be going to jail. He don't need to be going to jail, man. That poor Don, be he right. They go toss him around all right, but shout out to my man Monty. He says, "Set, let me in now. I gotta have this one. I got you. Actually, I got you on this."
I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful.
Don Lemon lectured half of the parishioners about how they really had an obligation to sit there and fucking take it.
These are resistance protesters. They're planning an operation that we're going to follow them on.
Some people are too dumb to be allowed to do the news.
There's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
He's too dumb and doesn't know shit about the law or the U.S. Constitution.
People here don't like it, but protests are not comfortable.
Has no fucking clue what he is saying to that pastor there. You're going to learn the hard way, sir, how wrong you are.
Look, he's hugging his kid. I just imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. That's what protesting is about.
You're too stupid to understand the law, but this one also happens to be illegal. You know how it's illegal to harass people, to show up at the abortion clinic? You're not allowed to do that. Well, guess what?
Yep, just like how the highly Christian, anti-abortion men and women go out there, go inside the abortion clinic, start handing out the Bible, and they get arrested for that. The same applies here. It's crazy how you have more respect for a place that is a place of death, where fetuses go to die, potential life go to die. You have more respect for that than a place of worship. Absolute insanity. Man, like, where are we at now? Where are we at in America at this point?
But that same law also applies to places of worship. There are some very limited, but this is one of them, limits on your First Amendment rights. This is the line beyond which we cannot allow them to cross. I don't care if it takes the National Guard, if it takes all of Pam Bondi's DOJ, if it takes President Trump personally making a visit to this church. I don't care what has to be done, but this is the red line and they've crossed it.
And I mean, yeah, to a lot of Christians, that was crossing the red line. Now, I got a little bit more videos here for you guys, so we can just go through some of the videos while my man Monty gets up here.
Together again, this is
the beginning, and now it all makes sense why he kept saying, I don't know what's really going on, I'm just here to tag along. Is like, nah, you knew what you was doing here.
How are you? Good. See you. They're getting the operation together again. This is an operation that is a secret, that they invited folks out. Can't tell you what is going to happen, but you're going to watch it live unfold here on the Don Lemon Show. There are for this reason, it may look like MAGA coded, but there's a reason they have so many white people here. I'm just going to be honest. It's because of the operation that they're doing today. It's important to have.
Pause. Yeah, go ahead.
He's not saying I can't tell you what's going to happen because he doesn't know. He's saying I can't tell you what happened because I don't want this to get uncovered.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was
first watching it, I was wondering why he kept saying that repeatedly, and I'm like, oh wow,
because he knows what's happening. He knows what's happening. He has advanced knowledge of it that he's just not telling us. Can't tell you what's going to happen. I can't show you behind this wall over here. The company doesn't want me to give their secrets away.
And that's the crazy part, though, is like, He was really saying that he's not dumb. He just don't care. He got reckless enough to where he just did not care about trespassing, and he tried to cover it up in whatever. Well, I mean, let's be real. He wasn't smart enough to use legalese, like to use legal terms.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of wild how he just went in there and thought that, oh well, I'm just here covering a protest, bro. They're trespassing. You're trespassing.
They invited him out, and he agreed to do it with them. He is a part of the protest. Remember, that was the first thing he said. They've invited people out. How the fuck did he get there?
Exactly.
Huh?
Oh, actually, you know what's even crazier? You know what? I covered this video yesterday. It was a Don't Walk Run production. He did a great cover on it. Like, because he even showed how Don Lemon had the woman who was leading the protest on his show a couple days ago.
Yeah, and Megyn Kelly said it best. Like, protests are not supposed to be comfortable. Yeah, your First Amendment right ends when mine begins. And so does mine. My First Amendment right ends when yours begins. I cannot, like, that is completely flabbergasting to me. Run it back when he said, oh, we have the right to peacefully assemble and we have the right to do this. And you know what else is in the First Amendment? To practice religion without persecution, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, this is the video that really set This is the video that really set people on fire.
This is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who
that's what, I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution in the First Amendment to
that says he's protected against this.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me though.
We're here. We're here to worship
Getting
Jesus.
kind of close, bro.
That's why we're here. Okay, that's why we're here. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding?
We're about
Wow.
These folks.
We're about
So interrogate him.
Did you try to talk to them as a
no
Christian?
one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I ask that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to
unless you're here to worship. Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not here to worship. Y'all yelling in the background.
He asked him to leave right then and there. He asked him to leave. He's not there to worship. He has a camera and a microphone. He is there as he wants to call, as his self-proclaimed press. He is there as press. He didn't walk in to go sit down, grab a songbook, and sing in to the freaking congregation. He didn't come in there to give a fiver to the bishop. He came in there to disrupt the service because remember, as he said it, we have a right to protest. And then in the next video, protest is not always comfortable, which means he knows he's violating these people's rights. And he says, so be it. I have a right to do so.
No, all right.
He doesn't have a right to do so.
True. Now, you know what? Let's go ahead and get right back into that video of Don't Walk Run production. For people who don't know what completely went down, what led up to this, because he gave like literally the best breakdown of it. But all right.
The former CNN anchor turned independent journalist. And by journalist, I mean accomplice. On Sunday, February 18th, 2026, Lemon joined up with a bunch of protesters led by Nakima Levy Armstrong of the Racial Justice Network.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the program. We just got into Minneapolis a little bit ago and did some reconnaissance on the ground, speaking to an organization there that's gearing up for resistance and protest.
Reconnaissance. So what are they doing? Why would Don Lemon fly all the way to Minneapolis? Well, it was
on an invitation.
They're getting the operation together. Again, this is an operation that is secret. So I don't want to get, because they are strategizing, I don't want to get too much of their information in there. But okay, so we're going to go to the operation again. We're not going to give any of the information away. We're doing this clandestine secret operation.
You see what he did there? He's like, look, I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna act like I don't know what's going on. I don't even know where they're going, but they're about to do this protest. And here's the thing. That's still not a good excuse, because when you think people are stupid,
Seth, I don't take that.
You pulled up to the church at that very moment. Hold on, he pulled up when you pulled up to the church that very moment. You should have knew, like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do this.
No, Seth, I don't buy that. You're giving him too much credit. He was invited out there. He knew why he was there in his journalistic capacity.
No, I said that.
No, right. So he knows all this. He's not acting like he doesn't know this. He's acting, in my opinion, he's acting like he does know it and doesn't want to share it with anybody because it'll get stopped before it happens. Like, think about any YouTuber that gets invited out somewhere, right? You get invited out to a car show and there's a booth or whatever, and you can't show, whatever, or just whatever. Like, I can't show this because it'll give away X, Y, and Z. Those are legal reasons not to show something. He is doing it. He is acknowledging that he has expressed knowledge of what is about to happen, and he doesn't want to show it with the public. So, like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
And all right, man. Shout out to. She says, wait, can I come up? Of course. I went ahead and posted the call-in link in the Discord and in the chat. And then shout out to my man Jet. He says Don Lemon and his Dollar General Mike looking logo. Nah, facts.
Bro, leave him alone. Some people can't afford good mics like me.
Nah, Jet's on fire today.
These operations are surprise operations. Again, can't tell you where they're going and where we're gathered right now. Can't tell you what is going to happen, but you're going to watch it live unfold.
You hear that? Hold on.
Show.
So it turns out that the Lemon Gang was heading to a church. And notice how worried Don is about ruining the surprise. Since when does a journalist worry about blowing the cover of the people that they're supposedly just covering?
We are here. Now, do you think if you just have it, I think maybe if you just have it on the church, but they see me, they're going to know.
If they see me in the camera, they're going to know that they're about to be ambushed. But, if you're just there to chronicle a public event, who cares if they see you? You only hide your face when you know that you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing.
And I'm going to go inside.
Always bet on black.
Always bet on black.
So Lemon slipped inside the church, and it turns out that the activists weren't there to pray. They were there to interrupt the service at City's church. Hands up,
church.
don't shoot.
And here's the thing, though. They did this because an ICE officer, I believe, is like what he preaches at that church. He goes to that church. He has a relationship with that church. But they went there doing this at his church instead of, I don't know, maybe the building he works at, and do it outside the building, please.
Remember, let them know they're not welcome. Get in their face. Get angry. Don't let them leave. Who does that sound like?
Oh, man, you're making a good point. I mean, Dems, you might want to fill in the blank.
They're following the playbook. Like, Don Lemon knew that this was happening. This is not objective speculation. He said as much. He said, I know what's happening. I can't tell you where we're at. It's not, I can't tell you where we're at because I don't know where we're at. Don Lemon knows how he got to where he's at. He can't tell you what's going on because it will blow the cover of what's going on. Not because he doesn't know what's going on.
Facts.
It's not speculation. That's what he said himself.
Makes sense to me. What's your problem? So the question is, why target this specific church?
This is a clandestine mission. I think they found out one of, according to them, this is according to Operation Pull Up, that one of the pastors here is a member of ICE. And so...
so that justifies it.
So yes, it turns out that one of the pastors listed on City's church's website is David Easterwood, who is also the acting field office director of U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement in St. Paul.
David Easterwood.
Are you sure that he's a...
Yes, City's church, yes. And that's why we're here, demanding justice for Renee Good and letting them know that this will not stand.
So they're just...
Oh, guys, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen. Let's get us to 50 likes.
Wait, Seth, before you go on. So at that moment right there, Don Lemon knows. Let's say we're gonna go with the ignorance argument. Don Lemon now knows why they're there. Don Lemon now knows that they're violating the Klan Act. Don Lemon now knows that's why he was brought there, because he was brought there. He didn't just stumble upon this. He had express notice that they were going to go do this.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Now he knows they're doing illegal activity. He is not it's not a journalist anymore. He is partaking in it, because after this, what does he go and do? He partakes in the protest and then defends it.
And actually, here's the wild part, though. He knew he was wrong, or they were not going in the right direction when you put up with these protesters and they all went inside that church and start yelling. As soon as they did that, he should have been like, yeah, I'm going home, guys. Sorry, I can't do this. Y'all about to get arrested.
Would you?
I can't be a part of this.
If I invited you out to cover an abortion clinic, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go into this abortion clinic and I'm gonna throw pieces of paper out at everybody, or yell or whatever, would you follow me in?
Nope.
Why wouldn't you follow me in, Set?
I mean, I'll be like, shoot, unless I'm promoting the same message you are, and I don't think I am, I'll just be like, nah, bro, that's you, bro. I don't know. That might be a bit of a risk right there, too. There might be some legal implications here.
Wow. So the dumb, never mind. I can't say that. I'm not calling you that, but the dumb insert your racial slur here even knows that. So why is it that you guys continuously defend this? The same people that call Set all the names in the book are fucking right up Don Lemon's ass defending him. Why is that?
Hey man, it's picking and choosing. It's just picking and choosing. But all right, let's get back to it.
Justification for barging into a religious service is that one of the pastors has a day job that they don't like.
I am a reverend on top of being a lawyer and an activist. So I come here in the power of the Almighty God.
A lawyer and
righteousness.
Wow. The cognitive dissonance you had to uptake. That was placed upon you to do this as a lawyer. It's crazy.
Jeez, stop
that.
She's already dead. She cooked herself.
Like, bro. There's no way. Yeah, she cooked herself by saying I'm a lawyer and here I am doing something illegal. Like, you dumbass.
Oof. They didn't do any express researching into the law and how this might be taken. Come on, man.
Make sure to like the video, guys, man. We go through this for you.
Truth and justice.
Oh, I see. She's a reverend, so she has almighty jurisdiction to crash other people's services. But don't worry, Don Lemon, he's totally neutral.
We're here just chronicling and reporting. We're not part of the activists, but we're here just.
Oh, Tove, check the general chat in Discord. I posted it in there, and I posted on the horizontal link as well, or on the horizontal live.
Reporting on them. But anyways, I'm not going to get in the middle of it because I'm not here as an activist. I'm here as a journalist. So
I'm a journalist. I'm not going to get in the middle of it. But then 5 seconds later, he's lecturing us on why this disruption is actually a good thing.
this is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them.
Let's defend it.
And not abiding by the Constitution. When you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the civil rights movement was about.
Journalism is supposed to be neutral and unbiased. What the?
This fucking milk dud. Remember what the Civil Rights Act was about, or the Civil Rights Movement was about? I'm sorry. I don't see this as sitting down at lunch counters. I don't see, this isn't sitting at the front of the bus. Segregation was illegal. All of that fun stuff was illegal. This is not illegal. This is a call to prayer, protected by the First Amendment, the same First Amendment that Don's trying to use to justify his illegal actions. You cannot disrupt a church service. I don't care. Someone in the chat, Jesus turned over a church. I don't fucking care what Jesus did.
I'm sorry, but I hate when they use that story. I'm like, he did that in a temple where they were sacrificing, animals. Before usury. I mean, there was a good reason. Like, Jesus did it for that. There was no sacrificing of animals going on in that church. And well, it ain't a bank, so there's no usury going on. So I'm sorry, but yeah, that reference do not apply.
It doesn't even apply on a biblical sense, and it damn sure does not apply in a legal sense. So you're grasping at straws because you cannot make an argument because you know what I'm saying is right. You first said, oh, it's objective speculation. When I proved that wrong, now you go and say, it's really actually okay because Jesus did it. Are you, bro, were you dropped on your head down the stairs, picked up and thrown back down the stairs again?
Man. But all right.
Did your dad push your mom?
Is advocacy.
For some reason, in our modern era, people think that in order to have protests, you got to be, cordoned off to a certain area, and what time you can protest. Look, there's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest.
Whoa! I get what you're talking about, bro. But let's be real though. There's a civil protest, peaceful protest.
Yep. This is
not. You can't just be in their face. This is not peaceful. Like you're disturbing them in their place of worship, which is basically violating their freedom of speech.
Pause. So he's talking about cordoned off areas and all this fun stuff. You do realize a church is a cordoned off area so that people can peacefully practice religion, right? It's a building that you went into that you don't own, that you're not welcome in. You can say, oh, everybody's welcome in. Yeah, everybody's welcome into Walmart that's going to buy something from Walmart. You're not welcome into Walmart to loiter. You're not welcome into Walmart to protest. You're not welcome into Walmart to disrupt the flow of things. You're not welcome into Walmart to rob Walmart. You're not welcome in. You're welcomed in for any legal or express or implied understanding of it. You're entering into a contract when you walk into a
I would think a simpler way of putting this. I think it's a simpler way of doing it. If you're gonna protest at Walmart, you do it outside of Walmart, not inside of Walmart.
Exactly. And like the idea that you can just go in and disrupt business and you have license to do so because you have a camera and a fucking $3 microphone, like that doesn't what. Because you can hear him, he knows what he's doing wrong. That's why he's trying to justify everything that he's doing wrong. He knows there's going to be backlash for this. He's already trying to cover for the backlash, which tells me he has understanding of what's going on. They told him what's going on so that he could get his talking points together and be like, yeah, see, I mean, perfectly okay to do so because ICE. I don't like Donald Trump, so this is my First Amendment right to do so. Get out. The pastor himself told you to get out.
All right.
Anytime. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt.
Actually,
and shout out to my man Jet. I had to catch up on chats real quick. He says, Dems, how much corn did Don eat before his arrest? Well, once again. And shout out to my man. Oh, shout out to Toe. Appreciate the support, sis. He says, send to my DM in Discord, please. I don't see it in GC. All right, I got you.
Don, there are laws about trespassing on private property. The First Amendment doesn't give you the right to scream in a house of God while people are praying.
Our church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday, and we were interrupted by this group of protesters.
No, I did not.
We asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left. So,
what do you think of this?
I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
You hear him defending it?
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me though.
No way was Don Lemon.
I mean, I want to be very respectful. Like, bro, I'm sorry, but like, do you think what you're doing
already
right
being disrespectful?
Like, bro, you're in this man's place of worship. Talk about being respectful, uninvited, by the way, trespassing, by the way. Talking about, hey, man, can you be respectful? All right, bro.
If this is allowed to happen, the First Amendment might as well just go right out the window. If there are no protections for people actually peacefully exercising their First Amendment right, then we're lost as a country. If on one hand you want to sit behind they're mostly peaceful protesters and sit in that disillusion, what are these people? These people are peaceful worshipers. The same amendment that protects your right to do whatever the hell you think you have the right to do, protects them. And you're violating that. There are laws against that, such as the Klan Act. If we do not prosecute this to the fullest extent of the law, the First Amendment means absolutely nothing.
All right, I'm gonna let this play out for a little bit.
He's full of it. And he's manufacturing a confrontation here.
We're here to worship Jesus. Yes. That's why we're here. Yeah. Okay, that's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a
no
Christian?
one is willing to talk.
Okay.
But then moments later, Lemon speaks to a parishioner and is like, "Why won't the pastor talk to the activists?"
I think maybe if the pastor would try to calm things down and say, let's all talk together and make this peaceful and not be so us against them.
I think that's good to talk, but then why don't we do that, right?
Yeah.
Fact check true. They had zero intention of having a conversation. Just listen to one of the agitators, professional protester William Kelly, aka the Woke Farmer.
Shame on you. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are your people? Why are you not at Whipple every day fighting for the humanity? You drink your coffee, you got your jewelry, you have your nice clothes, but what do you do? What do you do to stand for your Somali and Latino community?
What would Jesus do in this situation? I know. He'd interrupt a prayer service to scream at a random woman for the high crime of drinking a latte.
This is a juxtaposition. This shows you just how divided America is. When you look at the protesters here, and then you look at the people there who are praying, and you know what was the interesting thing? If these two groups could just get together, they might figure out what to do.
Listen to Don Lemon pretending to be the wise philosopher. If only they communicated. They are communicating, Don. One side is saying, please let us pray, and the other side is screaming about white supremacy. I think the positions are pretty clear.
As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit. Is a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No.
He is really fixated on the coffee. Thou shalt not drink lattes.
One of the members who looks to be really upset, a young person, the pastor's trying to calm him down over there. And yeah, so there you go. Hugging his kid. And, you know, I imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But again, careful, it's very slippery right here. Yeah. It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please. Really slippery. Not kidding. That's what protesting is about. And so.
No, it's not.
It's traumatic, but that's what protesting is about.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not supposed to be about making people uncomfortable and traumatic. That's rioting, actually. Yeah. That's what a riot
You know how
does.
I protest, Set? You know how I protest? I get up on your show with 100,000 views daily, and I say what I want to say. That's how I protest. I don't hurt anybody. Maybe I hurt some people's feelings, but I don't. That's where the uncomfortableness argument is supposed to end. It's not supposed to end, and you're literally screaming in somebody's face while they're in church. That's not. You can turn me off. You can't turn somebody that's screaming in your face off.
Oh, and how you doing, Tove?
Hello. How are you?
Doing all right. Wait, you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's funny that he's doing this because it literally directly goes against the Klan Act. The Klan Act was specifically instated to protect the people's right to gather to pray and all that. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but yeah.
No, you're.
I plan on looking it up here in a
Lemon
minute.
admitted that they are inflicting trauma on the parishioners, and his response is essentially, "Oh well."
Can you understand why they're angry?
I don't understand any of this because I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man who loves the Lord and is a good father. So this is what we look forward to, is coming, being with our family and and praising Jesus, and that's not something that we have to run away from.
Can you understand why they're angry? This man is a victim of an angry mob screaming at his family. But in Don Lemon's world, this is the guy that needs to explain himself. Disgraceful. So Nakima Levy Armstrong, aka the alleged ringleader, was invited to go on CNN to make her case.
Yes, so I want to explain what happened. So we've heard reports that BLM stormed, City's church, which is absolutely not true. We came in a very orderly fashion.
Orderly? We just watched you and your gang shouting down a pastor in his own pulpit.
We did not rush into that church. We actually went and sat down and participated in the service.
Yes, under the guise of being normal people, but in reality, you were just waiting for the right moment to attack.
And after the pastor prayed, that is when I stood up and asked him a question in response to his prayer. And then he responded to me. And then I proceeded to ask him about Pastor David Easterwood and how is it possible for him to serve as both the pastor and the director of ICE for Minnesota. And instead of responding to me, as soon as I said,
I'm sorry, but what type of stupid ass question is that? How can you be a pastor and director of ICE for Minnesota? I mean, can they not have another job? I mean, I'm sorry, but yeah, him being a director of ICE doesn't conflict with his Christian beliefs. I mean, I'm supposed to be real with you, but yeah, upholding immigration law is not conflicting with Christian beliefs. I'm be real with you. It's kind of weird how you guys are trying to use their Christianity against them and be like, oh, well, you should let all things go down because what? Jesus believed in lawlessness? Like, no.
The name David Easterwood, the pastor says, shame, shame.
No, he said, shame, shame, because Nakima and her group had stood up and started walking to the front of the church to hijack the service.
Renee good! Renee good! Renee good!
So I want to clarify that. We didn't rush in. We didn't bust in. We were a part of the service until I got up and posed that question to the pastor.
All right. And obviously, I'm not going to dispute your saying what happened.
Obviously, I'm not going to dispute what happened. Why not, Aaron? This is literally your job. You have video footage of these thugs screaming and taking over the altar. But sure, just take the activist's word for it.
I'm not just a lawyer and an activist. I am also an ordained reverend and itinerant preacher.
And shout out to my man Parabolic Curvature. How you doing, bro? He says, I know that guy was joking, but Jesus would probably kick over the Pharisees' table, especially to people who are God's children, but don't help others. I mean, here's the thing. Well, hey, look, I'm not sure what you're expecting all these Christians to go along with stopping ICE and putting themselves in danger. I'm not sure where you're going with that, but hey, shout out to my man Parabolic.
And so for me personally, to help lead that protest, this was about a reckoning, being able to go into a so-called place of Christianity.
You heard that, right? So-called place of Christianity. And listen to Don Lemon kind of repeat her point.
So there is a certain degree of racism there, and there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled.
I mean, bro, please tell me the type of Christianity you practice. I would love to know. But anyway, guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate the support. But let's make sure we double tap that screen and let's get more people on the conversation. But what irritates me is it's not the type of Christianity I practice. What do you mean by that? You talking about the denomination, or because it's kind of crazy how people are trying to use Christian teachings against Christians when it comes to immigration law. And it's kind of dumb. It's a really dumb argument to propose to them. Oh, well, what about the cruelty of it? I mean, sure, if you want to talk about that, yeah, we can talk about that. And, how it don't really go with Christian values. But if you're talking about upholding immigration law goes against Christian values, then I'm sorry, but you are dumb.
And that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy.
So if you want to worship in peace without being screamed at, you're a white supremacist.
You
got it.
I mean, my mother is a pastor, and so I grew up in Christianity. I grew up in the church. And one of the things that I remember about Jesus Christ himself is that when things weren't going right in the church, he went in and he flipped tables.
Today we had the honor to protest.
Yes, but for what reason? They weren't sacrificing animals and doing usury in the church and other things that God didn't agree with. These guys were literally doing what they were supposed to do as Christians. But go ahead.
Pull up the link I just sent you, because that's what Tove's talking about. That'll clear all this up. Fuck this Jesus, what would Jesus do? Bullshit. This is not about Jesus or what Jesus would do. We are a nation of laws. There are laws that they violated. They knew they violated these laws, and I'd like this to express that. I'm not gonna engage in what people that want to use the Bible to tell me about myself are going to say. I want to engage with the law, because remember, to people like this, religion doesn't exist. Religion's a fake construct, and church and state should be separated. Church and state is separated for this reason.
Actually, that is also a good argument. That is also, it's like, are you even a Christian to be using that argument on people? Because a lot of liberals aren't, low key.
An atheist will quote you a Bible the same way a Democrat will quote you the law.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. The Bible does talk about protecting your borders and making sure your people are safe. So it is funny that they try and bring up, what Jesus did, because there are quite a few, and I can't quote them at the moment, but yes, it does talk about protecting your borders and your people and not letting in outside influence.
Just check out that general statute under 18 USC. That, like, just go ahead and just read from the top.
All right. Section 241 makes it unlawful for two or more persons to agree to injure, threaten, or intimidate a person in the United States in the free exercise or employment of any right or privilege secured by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or because of his or her having exercised such rights. Wow. AKA, conspiracy against rights. Damn. This pretty much lines it out.
The moment Don Lemon,
they're exercising their.
The moment they were asked to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, but here's the thing. So pretty much from the breakdown of it, as soon as they walked in on these guys using their freedom of speech, or the First Amendment, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and they were going in there, intimidating them, getting in their face. Yeah, that's kind of a conspiracy against their rights.
And because Don Lemon, the conspiracy started as soon as Don Lemon knew what was happening and decided to go along with it. And the fact that he instinctually hid material facts of where they are and what they were doing, that shows a deeper conspiracy. That's an overact to give aid to the commissioners of a crime.
The offense is always a felony, even if the underlying conduct would not on its own establish a felony violation of other criminal civil rights statute. Jeez.
And that's why that Karen had her house surrounded by federal agents, because what she did was a felony. That's a felony arrest. We classify felony arrests as people that have intent to do harm and need that kind of a response. So when you go out and you commit felonies against other people, that's how the police respond. I know she's never had any accountability for actions, so she's probably never even been pulled over. But you don't do that. You don't do that.
Yeah, and I went ahead and highlighted for everybody in the chat here. So you can go and read along yourselves or pause the video and read it. But what they did definitely falls within the guidelines of this. Of course, everything is arguable in court, but we'll see. All right, though. Oh, and shout out to my man Jordan, long time no see. Hit us with the Bartle do, which is his favorite saying.
Bartle do.
And the Racial Justice Network, just like Jesus did in that church, and we flipped tables.
Yeah, just like Jesus.
Anyway, they always like to quote that. Flip tables.
Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the DOJ, announced on X that there would be an investigation into accusations that the protesters violated the FACE Act. 18 U.S. Code Section 248, the FACE Act, is a law that makes it a crime to intimidate or interfere with any person lawfully exercising the First Amendment right of religious freedom.
So that's a little bit farther down in that same law. So that you just read General Statute 241. This is General Statute 248. So seven statutes down.
Damn, you're right. Actually, here it is. 245, 247. Here it is. 240. Oh, hold on. Skip to 249 on me. Probably might be the wrong one. Let me see here.
Place of religious worship.
They're going to come at me with charges, and I'm not scared of that. There's no base for these charges. I did not block them from, their service. They welcomed us in. They never asked us to leave.
We asked them to leave, and
Excuse me?
Y'all just gonna lie?
Obviously have not left.
Come and get me, Pam Bondi, you f***ing traitor.
Yep, just like Jesus. Now, given Pam Bondi's Department of Justice record, I was highly skeptical that there would be any arrests into the church attack. And to my utter shock, it was announced that not only was ringleader Nikema Levy Armstrong arrested, but also Chantil Louise Allen, who is a Black Lives Matter leader and a member of the St. Paul's School Board. Also arrested was professional maniac.
So, fun fact is they have all been arrested under the Klan Act, and I find that highly ironic.
Hilarious.
It's the FACE Act, but yeah.
Or yeah, the Base Act. Sorry. Even still, it's considering what they were originally written for.
All right.
It doesn't. That you can put the irony into it, but it doesn't matter. What they did was reprehensible.
Oh yeah,
it was. You're going to have low information voters in the chat that are going to be like, oh, blah 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 blah, freedom of speech. They interrupted the service. Would you agree, Tove? I don't know. I haven't been to church
guys,
in a while.
Let's all be honest. We all know this is coming for Don Lemon. We all knew, but shout out because
Going to jail. Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
You're going to
I'm
jail.
dead. I'm dead. It's just horrible. Like that is horrible. There's kids in there. We don't bring our kids to protest. We bring our kids to church.
Right.
And if Don Lemon were taken to church a little bit more time, maybe he wouldn't be getting railed in the rear side by a white dude.
Jesus,
stop it. Get some help. Stop it.
Not Jesus. Jesus isn't railing Don Lemon.
But Don's a Christian. He wrote a book on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Book of Dawn.
I mean, he brags about that book all the time.
To the storming of the church. But what about Don Lemon? Where's his arrest?
Well, it just came down because this video was like what? I think a day old or two. Yeah, the video is 7 days old. 7 days old, and it came down today. Got him. Well, he got himself, honestly. He put himself in this position. And that sucks. That sucks for him. All right, dog.
Become much more clear, though, once these documents are unsealed, and we do that, expect that to happen this morning, as this will then continue to play out. I mean, as this new arrest tells us, Lemon was arrested last night in Los Angeles. This other journalist was arrested this morning, if there are other arrests related to this, because not everyone was charged in that initial complaint that the Justice Department was trying to charge. They could be playing out this morning, so it may be an instance where we do see additional arrests, and then we do eventually see this charging document and understand what charges they are specifically facing. As you said, Lemon's lawyer, Abby Lowell, says that he will fight this vigorously, and that it is not unprecedented for journalists to be charged, but it is also very unusual for journalists to be charged because of their First Amendment right to cover events and certain protections.
It's not covering an event when you participate in it.
in capturing news. So there is definitely going to be a big fight here to come on behalf of Don Lemon and most likely this other journalist as they fight back on these charges, which his lawyer is saying is unprecedented attack on the First Amendment. And as we have seen, the president and his attorney general have gone after people that Trump does see as his perceived enemies. Don Lemon is particularly one of those. Sarah?
Yeah. Kara Scannell, thank you for your reporting and getting us caught up to speed. We are expecting to see any time now this morning or perhaps into the afternoon the charges, because this has to
I want to see Don Lemon's mugshot
made public. Brian Stelter, now that you are learning that there are two journalists who have been taken into custody, one of whom we know well, our colleague and friend Don Lemon, the other who is very well known here as an independent journalist, she also saying that she was taken into custody, Georgia Fort. I saw her just the other day. She was covering the Ilhan Omar incident. What does that tell you about what the Trump administration is doing here? I mean, the First Amendment is the First Amendment for a reason.
A disturbing escalation against reporting in America. And I would also put it in the framework of protests. This is part of an ongoing pressure.
Pause. So remember when they throw those bumper stickers on their car that says "Vote like your rights depend on it." And notice how no one's rights are being violated. Now they have to manufacture violations of rights because they can't be wrong in saying that Trump wasn't going to violate anybody's rights. So now they have to bitch and moan on CNN and say, "Oh, look, we told you."
Oh, Don. Like he had a lot of opportunity to get the hell up out of there. As soon as he seen them pulled up to that church, he had every opportunity to turn his ass around.
Put it back. Put it back. Put it back. Put it back.
What'd you find?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's what I said. I was just like,
yes. Fucking justice. This is justice for those poor little girls.
Yeah, it's sad as I know this, and everything with him talking about what a Christian would do and what Jesus did. A lot of the stuff that he says without the context, I know the actual context of it. I'm not even Christian.
Yeah,
but he claims to be.
They use the Bible to explain away their own misdealings.
Anti-Trump protest action that we have seen makes the administration so uncomfortable, and frankly makes some voters very uncomfortable. This is an action, this arrest of Don Lemon, this arrest of this independent journalist who is live streaming and reporting.
Independent journalist.
This is something that some MAGA loyalists have been demanding. They've been wanting to see it happen. When Trump promised retribution,
damn right,
this is the kind of retribution that some of his voters, not all, but some of his voters wanted to see. And I think that is, for better or for worse, some of the context for what we're seeing this morning. In this, the First Amendment is meant to protect both a reporter's right to report, but also a congregation's right to worship. So legal experts might say this is somewhat complicated, although Lemon said all along he was there as a reporter.
No, it's not complicated.
And he did a really important job showing people, all of us now who can watch the video, what happened inside that church. I want to back up to that Sunday morning. That intrusion into City's church was sincerely shocking to many, many millions of Americans, myself included. People, saw that video, they saw Lemon's video, and they were uncomfortable by what happened inside that church. The idea that worship service was disrupted by protesters. And now there's a very interesting debate about whether the protesters were right or whether they were wrong to go into the church. But that is a political debate. And that's a debate about what forms of protest are effective. The Trump administration is moving that political debate into the legal arena and wanting to take it into court and have a court fight. And we know there have been these attempts.
But all right, though, let's see what our guy, Benny Johnson, got to say. Last video on the matter, and then we'll move on. I think we didn't give Don Lemon enough airtime.
Stupid lemonade.
The Lemon Man.
This is for all the people who say nothing ever happens. Don Lemon has been arrested. I repeat, Don Lemon has been arrested. Let's click on the article, make sure it's not clickbait. Oh, yeah, baby. This is real. Ex-CNN host Don Lemon arrested for Minnesota church storming and invasion, which is, of course, a crime. And before anybody says, well, wait a second, he's just a journalist, I know, I have as close friends, as guests on our show, journalists who were arrested for covering January 6th. Just because you're a journalist doesn't give you a shield, and Don Lemon, I wouldn't argue, is a journalist, but it doesn't give you a shield for criminality. And that is precisely what Don Lemon engaged in the church storming, where he straight up admits that his entire role at the church storming is to make people uncomfortable and to cause trauma for children. This is what the dude straight up says. In one scene, I mean, he walks up to the front of the church and harasses the pastor. Try doing that with an imam or a rabbi, right? It's only Christianity that gets treated like this. But in this scene, Don Lemon says, oh, traumatizing.
I hear, look, hugging his kid. And, you know, I imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but protesting is about. And so
that's what protesting is about. You know, I understand that it's traumatic for your little kids. According to the affidavit, the kids were being unlawfully detained. Is unlawfully detained. They were trapping them in their Sunday schools and preventing the parents from getting to the children. That's what the lawsuit says.
Wait, Set.
What?
Yo.
I would call it uncomfortable. Would you also call it like kind of intimidating for those poor little kids?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Now, why would I want to go to church, Mom? I'm about to have a crazy lady with pink hair screaming in my face. I'm good.
What is the second? What is the third part of that sentence say? To unlawfully what?
What? Hold on, I don't got it up right now. But I'm going to finish that off.
So it's to unlawfully assault, injure, or intimidate.
Yep. It makes it unlawful for two or more persons to injure, threaten, or intimidate a person in the United States in their free exercise of any rights. But Dems don't know that for some crazy reason. They think that this is okay. I mean, come on now. Come on. And they're saying you guys are just being part of the cult. No, we're just reading the law here. I'm be really if he's outside of a church doing this, there'd be nothing to talk about. But he did it inside and disturbed them. So there's something to talk about.
I would say before you go and do controversial shit on a public stage where there's going to be a whole bunch of scrutiny on it, make sure you're not violating, I don't know, a federal felony before you do it.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Like I get the messaging. Be loud, be obnoxious, make people feel uncomfortable. Cool. That's okay to do anywhere else except for where someone is lawfully assembled. That's what the law says. Like, if January 6th was an insurrection, then what is this?
Sure shit ain't a peaceful protest. That's for damn sure.
Tove, stop using your brain.
Really? Oh, wow. Let's see here. It does look like about an hour ago, Fox News came out with a video. It was like, let's see here. It was
come on.
Don Lemon's court hearing following the Minnesota court protests.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Set. You're bringing breaking news on the live?
Yeah, I mean, hey, bro, apparently this is taking over the airways. So and it's my job. So hey,
it's your job to report on it.
Yep. Let's see here. Let's see what they're saying.
The arrest protests freedom of the press. The arrest of Don Lemon doing his journalistic duty.
Oh my God.
One page more out of an authoritarian playbook. And we say enough is enough. We have to fight our rights. Many of our fathers and grandfathers fought and died for these rights. And we are not ready to sit and be quiet. We have to speak up. Every American who believes in our Constitution has to speak up. Don Lemon is a professional journalist. He and his producer were doing their job. Nothing more, nothing less.
No,
I agree with her. Wait. I agree with her.
I got this. Hold on. Let me go first.
I agree with her.
Don Lemon is a professional journalist. You're right. And as a professional journalist, he should know that, yeah, you violated the FACE Act. What you're doing is following a bunch of people who is trying to intimidate people in a place of worship, which is, you know, a place of worship, and they have the freedom to express their religion. I mean, he should have known that as a professional. But go ahead, Mons.
No. I agree. I agree with her on a broader point. He was just doing his job. His job as a Democratic journalist is to discredit and intimidate anybody on the right, anybody that could possibly be construed as being on the right. His job is to make people feel uncomfortable. His job is to be violent. His job is to be a political martyr. He is doing his job. He's continuing to do his job. He's a propaganda machine. That's exactly what his job is. I agree.
Like, bro, watch. When he get back out, he gonna be right back on CNN.
No, you know what? I would say that the Jimmy Kimmel case had a lot less legs than this one does. Jimmy Kimmel didn't. Jimmy Kimmel stood up on his platform and said things that were, you know, out of taste on public airways, which you're not allowed to do. I don't care who you are. You're not allowed to do that on public leased airways that the government owns. But no, you. Woo! She's right. He did his job.
All kinds of defamatory things to say about him. That's what they're doing. This is how autocrats act. We can't fall for it. We have to speak up. When a red line is crossed like this, we cannot be silent. And you want to say something? No. Okay. So I know Don Lemon. My husband created CNN, and I will fight for their right.
Why you fire him?
To speak, which is guaranteed in our Constitution. They arrested the wrong Don.
Huh?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
He's a journalist. I can't hear. I can't hear.
Oh yeah, and shout out to my man Parabolic. He says, do you think a reasonable person would fear for their lives or act against their will due to Don's protest squad? This is bad for intimidation. Actually, no, if this is a continuing behavior, there's a pattern to this where they constantly do this to churchgoers, then yeah, people are going to be intimidated not to go to church.
That's the goal.
Going to church,
that is the goal.
Result is somebody yelling in your face, and it's not the pastor.
Of course, Parabolic's going to far be it from Parabolic to, you know, have any common sense when it comes to intimidation. It's almost like he said Charlie Kirk deserved to get shot back when Charlie Kirk got shot. So I don't find that surprising at all. So
now here's the thing, though. You know, it's not just it's people who have children there. Their children have now seen that and dealt with that. Children are going to be a lot easier to intimidate, and what they decide if the next Sunday comes around and they go towards the church, and then their child goes, I don't want to go in there. They're going to listen to their child. They are not going to take them in if they're not ready to go back in.
So I'm glad you set the bar right there, Parabolic, because here's how that works. If one kid has to be comforted by their parents to say that crazy liberals aren't going to come in this time, then yes, intimidation has been achieved.
Yeah, but all right though.
Hey, we can only take questions if we can do it in an orderly manner. So right now, this gentleman's asking a question.
This wasn't peaceful. The parents were blocking their children. People were not allowed to exit the church. People thought it was a church shooting. What was your response?
This is why we need independent journalists who will tell us the truth about what happens. We have learned from experience that this administration lies in order to...
And we learned from experience that the journalists lie.
Put it I'll put it to you this way: I'm intimidated by what
Damn.
Don
I
Lemon
mean, hold
did.
on. They're getting wild against her. It's like, hold on, this lady's on y'all side, and y'all yelling at her. And this goes to show that even the Democratic base, you know what? They're not tired of their politicians, you know, for not being serious about affordability or any real domestic policies. They're mad at their politicians for not going hard enough against Trump, for not crashing out against Trump, for not leading the Civil War resistance against Trump. This is what they're mad about.
Hold on, Set. Let me say something real quick to Parabolic's statement. I have been intimidated by Don Lemon. There you go. There's your bar. I will not go to church now because I'm scared that a liberal is going to come in if this guy is not prosecuted and has carte blanche to come in and harass me and harass my family. There you go.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I mean, I guess we got a lot of breakings today because new Epstein files released by Trump DOJ, about 3 million pages. Okay, hold on, man. We got to pull that up. Hey, man, all this breaking news, like what? And I come in right at the top of the news hour?
There you go, Set. Welcome. Hey, it's Set Media, not Set Media Reacts anymore.
I'm literally, it's like I might as well take the reacts off at this point, or at least replace it with network.
Set Media Network.
Right?
The Department of Justice releasing its remaining documents from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Deputy Attorney General Todd Bland saying the records will be posted throughout the day, including more than 2,000 videos, more than 180,000 images. Some of the material so explicit, you have to verify being an adult before you can actually access it.
Many of Epstein's survivors have been publicly pushing for years.
Hey, no, bro, not the DOJ hitting you like, all right, man, is you 18 and older? And then you click into one file. All right, are you 21 and older? Because now it gets really crazy. And you're like, oh, shit. Okay, now, if you need, parental supervision to access the Epstein files.
Yeah, I can see it.
I'm going to have to look that one up.
To have these documents come out, but it took a law passed with near unanimous support in Congress to finally bring these documents to light.
Victims of Mr. Epstein have gone through unspeakable pain, and there's nobody that should say anything differently. And I to the extent that there's frustration, I understand where that comes from, just from what we know about Mr. Epstein. I hope that the work that the men and women within this department have done over the past 2 months hopefully is able to bring closure.
CNN's Evan Perez is here with us now. And Evan, there's been a lot of speculation about President Trump being named in these files. And we're learning now the FBI actually compiled a list of allegations related to the president back in August. What are you learning?
Right. So this was in 2025 that the FBI compiled a list of all of these sexual assault allegations that involved the president of the United States, that some of them stretch back years, decades, that were associated with this case. And we don't know what of anything is actually credible here. As a matter of fact, we believe that a lot of these could not be verified. Some of them were second and third hand accounts that people were relating things, and that's the way the FBI works, right? Some of this.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and actually read some of this off for you guys, because I do got some of them right here. I mean, prepare your ears, put away the children. S.E.T Media is actually usually an 18 and up channel anyway, but we try to.
Now it's a 21 and up channel.
Exactly. So, all right. So he measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering a finger and rated the children on tightness. The guests were and included Elon Musk, Don Jr., Ivanka Trump, Eric Trump were there. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was also there with attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken in rooms, forced to give oral sex to Donald Trump and forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 years old when Donald Trump raped me. Ghislaine Maxwell was also present. Yeesh. I mean, like I said,
read that. Run that through one more time.
Yeah, you wanted the guest part or the whole thing?
No. Where you start talking about people, keep the disgustingness out of it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
The guests were elderly men and included Elon Musk, Don Jr., Trump, Ivanka Trump, Eric Trump, and were there. Attorney General Alan Dershowitz, which was Epstein's lawyer, was also there with attorney Bob Shapiro. Don't really know who he is. when we were taken in a room, forced to give oral sex to Donald J. Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 years old when Donald Trump raped me. Ghislaine Maxwell was also present.
Hold up.
Where'd you find that?
Bro, apparently this is what's been circling around all over X. Like all over. Like Epstein is
No. I want you to find that. Find that in the actual
on the
files that they released, please.
And
Because
what year
that's
that
what I'm saying.
happened?
Everybody's bro. No. Remember what he just said. These most likely these are in the files, but he said not every story's been corroborated. Some of these are second, third hand accounts. We're not. Some of these people and some of these were never.
No. What I'm telling
you,
is go into the actual files, do a find in page for Donald Trump's name, and find that. Because if it's a third party account of the original document, then I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give you a to be continued on that one, because think about how much pages I'm gonna have to go through.
Well, no, just do a find in page in the document,
bro. I mean, they're lying.
Here's one other thing.
People are posting what they see the most like concerning.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. I'd also like to know what year that supposedly happened in, because they're also adding Elon Musk into that.
Right.
And
yeah, I know.
He was an elderly man. He and Trump did not start. Trump didn't even really
know
he
who
knew
he was.
of Elon, but he didn't know him like he does now until 2 years ago. And they were 13 when it happened, but they're supposed to be adults now.
13, yeah, and this happened 13 years ago. Elon Musk wasn't an old man.
Guys,
13
these are
years
all
ago.
just witnesses accounts. All witnesses accounts is what they're posting right now. All of them. And it appears to be the most damning one. Like, which one was it right here? I think one of them showed that it came like right off the website.
And honestly, the way it's written does not sound like someone could.
No, I mean, remember, it's a witness testimony. These are witness testimonies. So they write it how they say it, pretty much, to the best of their ability. So I know. We don't want to sit here and try to cast doubt on it. But I always say, maintain an open mind and let's all do the research for ourselves. I'll be back tomorrow with a little bit more on it, of course. But
yeah,
I got to do my due diligence to look through this, because remember, these are all witness testimonies. Most of these have not been corroborated, or they were not able to follow up due to holes in the story or information that they was unable to get.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of holes to that one.
Said.
Is in 302s, what they call 302s, which are essentially witness statements, and anyone can make any allegations. The FBI takes it down, and then it takes time.
Gamer wants in
to try to verify whether any of that stands, and so that appears to what has happened here. And what's notable here is that there's some of them that have very salacious accusations about the president. And again, a lot of them are unverified at all by the FBI. It appears that at least a couple of the documents that we're talking about here have been removed since they were posted earlier by the Justice Department. We don't know why that is. They've done this in previous tranches that they've released. But look, I mean, we know that Jeffrey Epstein and the President of the United States were friends, that they were close friends for a period, and then they had a falling out. The president has described that over the number of years, and he's also said repeatedly that he had nothing to do and did not know anything about about the activities, the illegal activities of Jeffrey Epstein with underage girls. And so that's what's notable. One of the notable things, a lot of these documents, 3.5 million documents in all that have been released in all of the Justice Department's work here. They've had hundreds of lawyers over the last few weeks who've been focused only on this, leaving behind all their other work to try to meet this deadline, which of course they've blown past by a number of weeks. And so we are still going through a lot of these documents. Some of them are things we've seen before, including things related to the Ghislaine Maxwell case. Of course, she was convicted in 2022 for being associated with some of these crimes. And so we're still going through a lot of these documents to see what else we learn in here. There was also some allegations about Bill Clinton. A lot of Bill Clinton mentions here, including someone who was his former White House counsel.
All right, so I went ahead and looked up the court documents, and I did have to verify if I was 18 or not. So we're going to take you to the justice.gov/Epstein/court records is what you want to go to. Just the court records, guys, after you verify that you're 18. But yes, as you see, it's like all the court cases. Bryant versus Indike. I heard of this guy. Okay. Epstein, civil, look like, yeah, civil legislation. Epstein, Florida Holdings, some legal cases that involve certain businesses and all this good stuff. But yeah, these are all coming from court records. These are all court records here. I mean, as you see, look, Farmer, Epstein versus Rothenstein, Epstein versus Edwards, Edwards versus Maxwell, Doe versus United States. These are all court cases that are related to, well, the Epstein files. And that's pretty much, I believe, what we were reading on X were these court files. Oh, I mean, extensive, is it not? And then if you want to go into these, court with more than 100 associated documents displayed, why not? Why not? See you here. Let's go to PDF 1, and there we go. That's pretty much, if you just want to go straight down and read it all the way down, this is what I'm going to have to do. All right, guys, let's go back. Now that I'm just looking about the reading I might have to do.
Makes reference to Jeffrey Epstein. She worked as a lawyer, apparently for Jeffrey Epstein.
I'll help you with the reading set.
Pause it real quick. So
I will
first
too.
of all, what's up, everybody?
Hey, gamer.
So I will say one thing: a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense because when you look at let's start off with the Elon Musk allegation because that's the linchpin. Elon Musk is from South Africa, and if you look up when he got his citizenship and when SpaceX actually started taking off, that would have been in like the late 2000s.
The court documents doesn't really tell us when this was.
And this is why I have a skepticism, because in every other court document prior to that, they all had, and I'm not, shilling or trying to run defense. I'm looking at it purely from like a legal.
Well, I would avoid making any comment on that until we did the extensive research, because let's be real. Remember, it was a clip. So let's wait until we find the actual court document, got the date on it, and then we can start lining things up. Because we don't even know the date for you to be saying that. Just saying.
Well, I think that's what he's kind of saying, is that we don't know the date.
Right. And then for people to be running with this stuff, there's way too many holes. There's a lot of stuff that just straight up doesn't make any sense, because people also need to take into consideration that this is also, you have to line up the dates with geolocation, and people that call themselves.
You have no dates.
You're right. And that's what I'm getting at, is people, online are being these freaking YouTube university detectives without taking into consideration, do the dates and times match geographical location? Because if it's a date and a time that, and I'm not saying just for Trump, I'm saying for anybody, like anybody that could be accused of this type of stuff, what people are being accused of, like if.
But all right, we're gonna keep it going though. Let's get back to the video.
So there's a lot of political figures associated with Epstein, which is not surprising given the company that he kept.
Evan, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it.
The Justice Department is in the process of releasing its remaining files related to the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case. We're now hearing from some Epstein survivors, though, who say their names appear unredacted throughout the documents, despite assurances directly from DOJ that no personally identifiable information about victims would be released. Joining us now, an attorney who represents 11 of Epstein's accusers, Eric Fudali. Eric, thank you so much for being with us. The documents that were released today include some 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, 180,000 images as well. Is that, to your knowledge, everything DOJ has in its possession?
Absolutely not. No, it's not everything. And even what has been produced still has redactions. There are some very alarming statements from the Department of Justice today discussing what they've withheld and what they've redacted. And most alarming was they cited attorney-client privilege and ongoing investigations. The problem with that is there's no oversight. We just have to trust that everything they're withholding is in fact attorney-client privilege. And attorney-client privilege is very nuanced and very difficult, especially when you're dealing with prosecutors who technically don't really have clients other than the government. So again, it's very convoluted. Also, ongoing investigations. You could say anything's an ongoing investigation and then withhold. That's what's so frustrating and so alarming about this. And that's why the congressmen have requested some of the federal judges in New York who have overseen the Epstein cases to appoint a special overseer to oversee this production and make sure that it's being done in compliance with the law. We're actually filing some amicus briefs and letters to those judges on behalf of my clients as we speak, because that's what needs to happen. There needs to be oversight.
When you hear that there are survivors out there saying that they have read their names, even Jane Doe's, that they have read their names in these documents, I mean, what does that tell you about the process, the review process to put these documents out there?
It's really concerning. And really what's so baffling about this is, on one hand, it's a cover-up, but on the other hand, it's incompetence. So you have this combination, this sort of like perfect storm of trying to cover up what they don't want people to see, but then accidentally covering up what they shouldn't allow people to see, or accidentally showing people what they shouldn't see. I mean, this is just, I don't know if I've ever seen in the history of this Epstein case, or really anything, such sheer incompetence and such an obvious and robust effort to cover things up and withhold things from the public. But the fact that after all these redactions, all this time, we're almost a month and a half past the deadline for which all the documents were supposed to be produced, that they're still producing documents that are not fully redacted. I saw that I heard there was a driver's license that showed a survivor's name. I mean, it's just, it's incomprehensible. It's incomprehensible how poor a job and how this has been handled.
Wait, stop. Stop. So everybody and their fucking mother has been bitching and moaning that the Epstein files haven't been released, and you fucking pass a law. Just because you declare something happened does not mean it fucking happens. First of all, there's 3 million documents. Someone turn their mic off. Whoever has their mic on, turn it off, because I hate hearing myself echo.
Go ahead.
So they have 3 million documents to go through. There are 40,000 federal employees of every shape, size, and color. Even if you had every single federal employee working on this, from the person, like every single one of them, that 3 million documents, and you're telling me you demand them to be released on this date, and it gets released, and now it's, people's names are in them. Oh my God. What did you expect to happen when you tried to rush this? We've been telling you for months, hey, maybe we should do things to protect victims' names. Maybe we should not rush into this. Yeah, we all want to be curious and see, because it's a public interest matter. But now that's going to be the stance you take. Oh, they have people's names in there. So what?
Yeah,
so what?
I agree. Hold on, guys. Now they were complaining about, get it out. And Mike Johnson was the same person, was one of the few going if we release this, there might be some mistakes made. Now that these mistakes were made, now you guys are complaining when you guys were pre-warned. Okay.
This is why I have a hard time believing that it's really about the Epstein files. I do want to know whose name is in those files, because those sick bastards need to be brought to justice, even though, let's be real, and I hate saying this, we all know that those big fish ain't never going to get pulled out of the freaking ocean. I hate to say it, I hate to burst people's bubbles, but that's just the sad reality. If it does come to pass, then I'll gladly say it. I'll eat a dick on that one. But let's be real.
I went through and did a find-in page on every single one of those documents so far. Not like the files, and I haven't found Elon Musk's name in them.
I mean, these new ones, man.
No, I'm in the new ones. I'm on the DOJ's website in the background, going through, opening things up, just doing a simple find-in page, and I'll type in Elon, and his name's not popping up.
All right.
And on top of that, it's pretty convenient that these come out now when we've got all these other agitation, the shit going on in Minnesota, and the 2 shootings with ICE and everything. It just seems.
It's a kitchen sink. They're throwing
Yeah.
everything out, including the kitchen sink, so that it doesn't blow back on them.
But all right,
So
let's go ahead
we'll
and
see
get
what
over to the
sticks.
next video here on this one. All right, man. Shout out to our man Bongino. He's back in action. He was the deputy director. Well, yeah, deputy director of the FBI. He I don't know what the F was happening, but hey, he's back on to his podcast, back on doing his media runs. Let's see how this goes for him. Because quite honestly, I think he screwed himself. But all right. Oh, and shout out to Parabolic. Hold on. Shout out to Parabolic. He says Elon has been in the U.S. since 1992 and came from money.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. See, that's how dumb. That's how dumb Parabolic is. No. I'm not gonna let that go. Elon Musk, when he was younger, his dad was rich. Before he turned 18, his dad lost everything he owned. He came to the United States with $7,000 in his pocket. Not really coming from money, you dumbass.
And not only that, to double down on that, during, if I'm not mistaken, during 2005 or 8 was when all those people started racially profiling white South Africans. If I'm not
No,
mistaken.
belay my last. He came to Canada in the early 90s. He didn't come to the US until like 98, I believe.
Right. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
he started out in Canada and then made his way over here.
He can't even get his timeline straight. But he wants to make accusations like he knows something about anything. Open a book. Just read a book, dude.
So here's what
about Elon.
So here's what I'm saying. All in all, I find it very interesting. Number one, let me establish 3 points and then we can roll on to the next video. Number one, the timing doesn't make sense if you're looking at it from a regular perspective. What I mean is, ask yourself this: why now? Why didn't they bust this crap wide open under the Biden admin? Why didn't they bust this crap open? Why didn't they bust this crap wide open during Trump's presidential run? That would have been the perfect time to leak this stuff. Why didn't they bust this stuff wide open under the Obama administration? Doesn't make sense. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by when you look at it from like a neutral perspective and you ask just the basic questions, there's a lot of answers that don't appear.
Wait. Let's make another point. Let's make another point. How many? Let's say Elon Musk is raping little kids. Why is the Obama administration giving him contracts?
I mean, maybe before they knew.
No, they knew. They investigated this set.
I mean, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
Let's be real. I mean,
yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
They started investigating under Obama.
They started investigating under Obama.
Who, Epstein?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but guess what? It wasn't like this type of extensive research. It wasn't done literally until honestly, into Biden's term. Like everybody was just kind of sweeping it under the rug. Let's be real. Like Epstein didn't really become a popular topic until around Trump's administration, even though we could trace it to going all the way back to the 80s.
We're not talking about the popular conversation to have. We're talking about the investigation that was done by the DOJ. That was before any of this became a hot button issue. That's how the public got a hold of it.
Yeah, but they were investigating Epstein, not Elon. Now, because of this, there might be some type of heat on Elon, but
while they're investigating Epstein, Elon's name came up. That's what this.
I don't know.
That's what these people are claiming. I'm exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
We don't even know when the court files were released. This could have been done after the Obama administration or before it. We don't know. We still got to sit there and look at the.
You can look at the top of the document. You can literally look at the top of the document and see when the court file was released, or when it was.
But do you know?
Yes, you do. That's a standard procedure
to be making this claim. That's all I'm asking.
Any court document has the date in which the court proceeding happened at the top of the date, or at the top of the. Yes, you do know. If it's not there, it's not a real document, is what I'm saying, Seth.
I'm asking, do we know the actual date when this claim was made for us to be making that assessment? Because if it was made after the Obama
Look at the top of
administration,
the document. The date is on there. That's when the claim was made.
we know this. But okay, never mind. Never mind. Let's just get into the
All
video.
right. Let's, yeah.
Friend of the program, Dan Bongino. By the way, Bongino is back. He's on Rumble, 10 a.m. Monday morning. His show, the Dan Bongino Report, starts. Welcome back to the airwaves. I know you told me you were only going to be at the FBI for a year. You kept your commitment. Let's talk about what you're seeing here.
You know, listening to Tim Walz and these other, left-wing jokers talk about public safety as if they have any kind of like lodestar or 12-step manual to get it done it's tragic. It's not funny. It really is tragic. These guys are clowns. Before people like Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump with that go get 'em boys attitude where you get these bad guys off the street came into power, they had to clean up the mess from these clowns running their cities the way they did. But to hear Walz talking, let me show you what real cops do. Well, I know what real cops do. Real cops would do real cop stuff, more real cop stuff, if people like Tim Walz and others would let them be real cops. Sean, just think about this, man. I'm a numbers guy. I like spreadsheets. Numbers can be boring. This one's not boring, I promise you. The President of the United States, under his first year, we just had the lowest number of homicides in recorded history. Not only that, the percentage drop from last year, which understandably was still pretty low, was also a record number. That was under this administration. Why? Because he let cops be cops and he let us go get the bad guys and he shut down the border. It's not freaking rocket science, man. But again, to hear these clowns on the left talk about this like they have some bedrock model of the left-wing success on public safety it's a tragic joke.
I mean, he do got a good point. It's like, bro, y'all talk about public safety as if y'all run the safest cities and states when the most dangerous cities in America are blue cities. Yeah, let's just keep it real. And even the most high crime red states. Well, when you put a microscope onto it, you look a little deeper into it, you see that the highest crime areas are blue cities and blue districts. So it is kind of crazy getting a public safety lecture from people who can't even provide public safety to their own constituents. It's like, it's kind of crazy to hear that. Like I said, it's like getting financial advice from a homeless man. Oh, and shout out to my man Parabolic. He says, bring me up while he's speaking on my name. All right, Parabolic. I went ahead and posted the StreamYard link in the horizontal tab. So right where you
bring your
no.
When you make comments, people the people up here get to respond to those comments. That's how that works. He didn't meet the call-in limit. Let him sit in the back. He can give another $20.
I'm weak. Oh, don't worry, man. Parabolic is harmless. He means well. But
no, he doesn't. He absolutely means the worst in humanity. He
damn
literally celebrated Charlie Kirk's death and told him he deserved it.
You know what? I think a damn Parabolic.
That's still in the group chat. That's still in the group chat set.
He was was he?
Yes, that's who we were all pissed off about.
I thought he was just trying to find. I thought that was well, never mind. It was Galactic Air Parabolic anyway.
I wasn't here yet when that happened, so I have no clue.
But all right, Parabolic. No, if you want to come up and defend yourself, I went ahead and posted the call-in link in the horizontal tab, which you are in right now. So go ahead.
On all of us, it's a shame.
All right, let's talk about this guy, Alex Preddy. And, I know it was 10 days prior. I will concede the point to their family attorney that is not related to what happened when he was shot. However, he was armed in both instances. However, he's saying, come assault me, mother effer. However, he's spitting at agents and law enforcement and then kicking their car and knocking the taillight off. While armed at the same time. People ask me, because I've been a pistol carry permit my entire adult life. You learn to de-escalate. That is critical. You learn safety and security. You don't
not liberals.
Start confrontation. In this video, he's starting confrontation. You don't resist. What do you see?
Well, the video, I think, just came out, what, today or so? So there's going to be an investigation on this, going to be an exhaustive one. There's going to be body cam video and everything else that's going to come out over time. Obviously, the individual had the right to carry a firearm, a huge Second Amendment advocate.
I agree.
You know, that is, yeah. So, you know, that we have to silo that one off. You have both the First and Second Amendment right to protest in the country, and also you can carry a firearm. But I want to see this thing play out. I think the responsible thing to do is for everybody to gather all the inputs and produce a, you know, informed output at the end. And we just don't have all the data yet. That's just the facts. So I'm going to let this thing play out, and you know, I'll form an opinion on it when I have all the inputs to get it all together.
You know, I want to go back to something that you said about when this goes back to July of last year, and you put out a very cryptic tweet, and you didn't disclose your specific findings, but you were shocked at what you have learned in the short time you've been on the job at that point, about 6 months or so, and that a republic cannot survive knowing what you found. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to keep it short, but I was sitting in the office on a Friday night over at Hoover on the 7th floor of the FBI building. And I was just me and the security detail. It was late. You know, I was the last one around. It was only, you know, I wasn't trying to be a martyr. There was nothing else, you know, for me to go home to. I was alone that weekend. So I stayed at work late, and I was reading through some stuff that you can only read in the office. And it just involved basically the collusion hoax, Crossfire Hurricane, as it went by, and the various other spinoffs. And when you read from the inside, Sean, when you see the details of what these just absolute animals did to President Trump, and the barriers that broke down and the guardrails, it was, I mean, I'm not shocked often, Sean. I'm really not. I'm not, you know, again, I'm not trying to put on some faux.
All right, bro. Come on, man. Stop teasing us. Like, what did you see, bro? What did you see? Just say it. But it is what it is. Now, all right. Now, Parabolic, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good.
And all right. Now, Parabolic, like, so do you want to defend yourself a little bit on those Charlie Kirk comments or whatever Monty's talking about? He's adamant.
Speak up.
Wait, Parabolic? Oh, that was gaming. All right, go ahead, gaming.
I was saying, speak your piece. That's what I was saying to him.
That's why. I have a couple of different mics hooked up to my computer.
So turn up your mic just a little bit for us if you can.
Yeah, 1 second.
Perfect. That's perfect right there. Whatever you got, that's perfect.
Well, I'm turning up my gain right now. All right. So you should be able to hear me just fine. Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Clear.
So a couple of things. Number one, Monty, first off, never said Charlie should die. Literally never said that. Please go back and tell me where I said that. I never say anyone should ever die ever. That is a consistent way that I have been my entire life. So for you to sit there and say that is absolute BS, malarkey, and lying on my name. All right?
Sue me. Let's go to Discovery. Sue me. Let's go to Discovery.
Why would I sue you? I said you are lying on my name. I don't care.
And I maintain what I said. It's in there if anybody wants to see it.
Let him finish.
He did finish.
And then you can.
Hold on. Your gaming. You're doubling.
Turn your mic off, gaming.
There you go.
No, Monty just likes to interrupt. That's all it is.
You said something. I responded. That's not interrupting. That's a conversation.
Yes.
Just because you don't like what I have to say doesn't mean it's interrupting.
All right. So pretty much Parabolic saying he ain't say it. Monty saying you did. So I guess we just agree to disagree on that.
Go ask Maine Arbor. Let's go ask Sid. Let's go ask.
I told Maine
everybody
Arbor
that was in the chat
he
that
is
day.
An asshole, and that if he ever speaks to me, I'm going to continue to be an asshole back to him. Period. Just like I'm going to continue to be an asshole to you because you just started being an asshole out of nowhere to me. All right?
I haven't been an asshole out of
Have a
nowhere.
great
You,
day, Monty.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, all right. We're just gonna just keep it moving. Then,
Oh, also the Elon thing. I'm not even saying Elon was involved in any of that. I just wanted to give context. He's been in the U.S. since '92, not '98 or whatever. He actually received his degree, I believe, in either '95 or '97 from Pennsylvania. So he had to have been here before '98. Of course, then you're assuming like, Trump broke it off with Elon, or not Elon, but Epstein in '03. So there is a little bit of give in there. You would have to be between '98 and 2003 or so. And again, I'm not saying he's in there, right? I'm not, because I don't necessarily believe that he was, right? I'm just saying that, like, if you're like asking, where would his name have been? It'd probably been somewhere between '92 and 2003, if it's both Donald Trump and Elon.
And this is alleged to have happened in 2012.
Yeah, again, I that's what I'm saying is the validity. I don't know if that's necessarily true in any way. I was just trying to give context as to how long Elon has been here. Yes, he did in fact come from money. So his raising was in fact
belay my last. He came here in '95, so not '92.
All right, guys. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next
That's
video.
when he received his degree, wasn't it?
Huh?
What, wasn't '95 when he received his degree? Not when he.
No, he came to the United States in '95, received his degree in 2000, or became a.
I like that so much. I really do. But all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get on to Hannity. And shout out to my man Jet. He says, not gonna lie, Bongino is awfully talkative all of a sudden. So let's go ahead and get into
he said
that.
he lived in Pennsylvania for 3 years.
But
I just don't know.
Para.
Drop it.
That's why he
Para.
played the music.
It's okay, bro.
We can continue that outside.
Yeah, we'll continue that on another side. And shout out to shout out to Ham. He said, just show the messages. Just said, I need the messages.
At this point, if somebody else complain about my headphones echoing, and I know they're not echoing because I done restarted them.
When I can hear myself in the background coming from your mic, it's echoing.
Quit being loud.
Turn your mic down. Turn your mic down.
They're on headphones. Can't do that.
Turn your mic. Turn your mic sensitivity down. You don't need it all the way up if you have a mic on your face.
For headphones, for Bluetooth headphones, Monty. Come on, listen.
And all right. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our guy here, Sean Hannity. He interviewed Kristi Noem. So we're gonna get back into this whole ICE shooting debate here.
Wait. One more thing. Monty, if you start talking tough again, I'm going to come and take one random DeWalt tool that I know for a fact you're not using.
Which one?
You're not going to know. Just take it.
But
then every time I talk, I can hear myself unless you're muted.
Which is true.
I'm stealing your circular saw.
I do use that bitch. Leave my circular saw. You can have my heat gun.
No, I'm taking the blade.
The blade.
Tonight, all eyes on Minneapolis, where anti-ICE protests continue to sweep the city following a second fatal shooting involving immigration officials over the weekend. Here now with the very latest, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Madam Secretary, thanks for being with us. I want to talk about how untenable the whole situation is and why. I'm going to get to that. There seems to be two criticisms that have emerged, and I want to give you a chance to address them. One was an ex-post 2.5 hours after the Preddy shooting, that an individual approached the officer with a 9mm semi-automatic. Officers feared for their safety. And that's why the shooting occurred. It seems, as you look at videos, that the weapon may have been stripped, though, before that happened. And I guess my question is, was that statement premature?
Well, Sean, I know you realize that situation was very chaotic and that we were being relayed information from on the ground from CBP agents and officers that were there. We were using the best information we had at the time, seeking to be transparent with the American people and get them what we knew to be true on the ground. So we will continue to follow the investigation that the FBI is leading and giving them all the information that they need to bring that to a conclusion and make sure that the American people know the truth of the situation and how we can go forward and continue to protect the American people.
As
what we
untenable
knew
as
to be
this
true
is,
on the
and,
ground is
and all these
wild,
politicians
guys.
pouring.
All right, Parabol, go ahead and explain that for one.
So what she's saying is she was gaining information, which may have 100% been true. I'm assuming that she was, right? And she made a statement based off of the information she was gaining without getting the full scope of the information, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, her statement was premature, right?
That's true. I'll give it to you. When she came out off the hip and started saying that, oh, domestic terrorists and Stephen Miller came off with assassin.
We were just getting what was the truth on the ground at the time. The truth isn't subjective. The truth is objective. Now, there are personal truths that I won't doubt that. But when we're talking about a situation that unfolds, we're looking at objective truths, not subjective truths.
Yeah, I was also
Shooting off the
wondering
hip.
at that.
All right.
Gasoline on what is already a difficult situation, and that's enforcement of the law, arresting the worst of the worst, and I'll get to that in a minute. The president's called for a full investigation. Stephen Miller seemed to concede that maybe some protocols weren't followed. You know, again, everything's hindsight 2020, and these things go down very
Hey, Sid, I'm about to leave and come back.
All right, big dog. Oh,
You don't have to announce your exit.
I'm weak. And shout out to my man Ham. He says everyone has the right to be a miserable bastard in our country. Made fun of Charlie Kirk, Goody, Preddy, etc. Our right to be assholes, not how we should be though. I mean, yeah, we do have a right to be assholes, not how we should be, but
agree.
Yeah, and when you are an asshole about it, I have a right to judge you for it.
Me, I try, man. Sometimes my dark humor accidentally slips out, but I truly try.
Accidentally?
I swear, I sometimes I say stuff and it just be like, yeah,
Surprise
that was fucked
yourself.
up. My bad, guys. If I ever did that, my bad.
Any lessons to be learned, handle things differently going forward?
Well, Sean, that's part of the reason why we have several layers of an investigation here. We believe that we can always do better, and we seek to do that every single day. And we want to make sure that we not only improve protocols on the ground.
Hold on, I gotta shout out my man, Sell You Light podcast. Make sure you follow my man. My man actually got me some what was it? Man, I was actually talking to a pretty big content creator that was one of my inspirations when I started content creating, Angry Man. So, bro, I appreciate you for linking me up on that panel, bro. I truly appreciate that. So make sure to follow my man for that because he did me a huge favor.
In chaotic and volatile situations like this, but that we continue to find the truth around this situation and get the facts to the American people and make sure that we continue to do our work every day with integrity, but that we continue to be able to get criminals and dangerous people off the streets like these officers have been doing for months, ever since President Trump came back into office. They take an oath to go out and protect these communities and to keep them safe, and that's one of the jobs that—
Now, Parabolic, I gotta ask you a question though, and just like follow me on this. Don't you think it's a bit crazy how like Minnesota hasn't provided like really any type of help to these ICE officers to prevent these deaths, like, you know, crowd control? Because think about it, you know, Jacob Fry could brought in local police in the surrounding area with the help of Tim Walz, and they could provide a police barricade to keep these protesters out. But since this isn't happening, these protesters are turning obstructionists and getting themselves hurt. So is there like, can we not put at least like, I don't know, 60% of the blame on Walz?
Yeah. So I'm gonna say like 50-50, right? Federal versus like state and local government. Absolutely. Right. So like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like there aren't people doing things to like actively make things worse, or at least not try to make things better. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like that, right? But what I am gonna say is that in the situations on the ground, in like a humanist situation, like all I'm looking at this is from like, I don't want anyone to die, and if I can make sure that everyone is as safe as possible, then that's probably my ideal situation, right?
All right,
so
that's why the Renee Good
ahead,
situation I talked about, them needing to be behind her whenever they're quote unquote casing the vehicle. That's why whenever I was talking about the Alex Peretti situation, I'm talking about the fact that they needed to be examining all parts of the situation and not just be hasty in their actions. That's why I talked about with this Nome situation, she needed to get all the facts beforehand. I'm just looking at it from a perspective of like, how can we be the most safe? And how can we be the most safe is we can get the most information that is available to us without like violating people's rights. That's it.
All right, Monty, what's going on? You have pushback?
So you would? No, I don't have any pushback. Everything he's saying on its face is completely true. You shouldn't interfere with law enforcement. There should be law enforcement there, like police officers, not law enforcement. There should be police officers there that are doing crowd control measures. I personally think that it's not a priority for them because they like the chaos. It serves their message better. And the options are not the state can't make it safe, so the federal government just doesn't enforce laws anymore. That's completely preposterous. I know you didn't propose that, but that is the general feeling that I'm getting from the messaging. It's like, oh, we just want everybody to be safe. And well, we can't make it safe because the state won't do it. So because the state won't do things that they're supposed to do to keep their people safe, then I should just get out of the area. And again, I'm gonna reiterate, I know you didn't say that, but other people have said that. And it goes and goes and goes, and then something pops off, and then everybody wants to armchair quarterback. And I know Parabolic, I'll give it to him in the previous things that I was watching when my phone died. He said exactly that. You have to look at the totality of the situation, even before we had all the new information that we have. And I agree with him. You do have to look at the entire situation. When this Peretti thing first happened, the first thing I said is they just shot that man for no reason. And then when you look at it and you zoom back and you look at all the aspects of things, Peretti could have walked away. He absolutely could have walked away. He could have not, engaged in crime. He's been given multiple chances not to do this, and he chose. Again, it's an altruistic thing to do, but he chose a violent confrontation with police officers over just peacefully protesting. And I don't think he should be labeled as a peaceful protester when he's interfering. By definition, is not peaceful.
All right. And shout out to my man Chad. He says, I support ICE, but I think she needs to be replaced. She made this, I don't know, the way she handled Minnesota, that's not too good. But it seems like she's doing well in other areas. But then I ain't gonna lie, media-wise, she shot herself in the foot by just jumping off the porch both times on Renee Good and Alex Peretti with the whole domestic terrorist claim. It's like
they need to keep her away from a camera, and she needs to do the job she's been doing pretty well. And she just needs to stay off camera. Labeling somebody as a domestic terrorist, while I apply the same logic to the Insurrection Act. There is an insurrection going on, but the Insurrection Act is not necessary. They do fit the definitions of domestic terrorists, but you do not label them as domestic terrorists because that is a very, very, very one controversial and very too hard to prove. So she shouldn't be doing that. She is being stochastic and riling up a base when this should not be partisan politics.
All right, let's get back to it.
That they take very seriously, especially in Minneapolis, as we've seen this kind of violent riots go forward and attack them.
I think in the Renee Good case, it was more clear cut because we had the video. Clearly, she accelerated towards an officer. Injuries were incurred by the officer, internal bleeding, as I understand it. If I'm wrong, correct me on that. I think in this case,
can we just pause for right quick?
Bruising.
You're going to go on the internal bleeding?
Bruising can be seen as internal bleeding.
I don't really care. I mean, sure, class 1 hemorrhage or whatever can be considered internal bleeding. Which is
I tackled that. It's a bunch of garbage.
I'm not sitting here trying to. I don't. Again, my contestation, it has always been that they shouldn't have been in the situation to begin with. Like again, I go back to this whole the B pillar policy. Monty, I assume maybe you looked that up after hearing my arguments.
I did not see the pillar. You said pillar of policy?
Yeah,
pillar.
Yeah, when me and him was debating the shooting,
Oh,
one
B
of his
pillar
main
policy. Oh
points
yeah, where
was
you
the B
stand.
pillar policy.
I
Yes,
know what
where
you're
you-
talking about. Where you stand behind the actual B pillar
Yeah,
of
and
the
so
vehicle.
that is what I have been shouting from the rooftops in the Grenade Goods situation. That has been my point, right? It's they needed to have followed safe procedures beforehand to not have been in that situation.
I mean, yeah, but the result is you just die then. That's not the result we
if you're
want to.
behind
That's
that
not
B
the country
pillar.
we.
No, not if you're
No,
behind
no, no,
that
no,
B
no, no,
pillar.
no. Because he did something wrong does not mean he just dies and has no
Oh no,
recourse.
no! I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
Okay.
about so we're talking about Barnes versus Felix and whether or not the shot itself was justified, right?
Yes.
Under Barnes versus Felix, if he would have utilized the B pillar policy that they are instructed to do, he would not have been in front of the vehicle, anywhere in front of the vehicle, regardless of if he was like kind of on the side and she put him in front or whatever. He wouldn't have been in front of the B pillar so that she could have done that. And that has been my contestation this whole time.
So you do know where the B pillar is, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not.
right
I'm not.
behind,
I want to
So
illustrate
it's
this for other
between the
people that don't understand.
front driver's side and back driver's side door. That's that little line. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's where he should have been at all points in time, and we see it even his own camera footage that he definitely walks in front of the vehicle at least one time and remains in front of that B pillar on multiple occasions, and that has been my contestation.
Right, but there's not
about why it's not a justified shot. That is it. Past that, yes, if his life was already in danger, yeah, of course he's going to shoot. I understand that. I'm not talking about the mentality of the subject or like the actual like the mentality of the shot.
But what you're wrong about is that does not make it an
prior to
unjustified
that,
shot.
Yes, it does. So if they would have been following safe procedures, this is what they're talking about in Barnes versus Felix, right? In Barnes versus Felix, they talk about how if a officer would have just used safe procedures, and even you were talking, I think someone said something the other day about, oh, the other guy's arm was in there. Well, in Barnes versus Felix, that was the exact situation that had occurred. The officer could have pulled his arm out instead of trying to fire in. That was what happens in Barnes versus Felix. And that is what I'm talking about. Safe procedures, never having been past that B pillar, the other officer not having reached his arm inside the vehicle. These are things that they could have done that would have made them more safe, and they could have arrested her later, right? This is what we talk about, safe procedures. This is why Barnes versus Felix exists, so that the moment of the shot isn't the only thing we're looking at anymore. It's how we got to that point. They did not follow the B pillar policies and got to the point where he was.
So show me in the law where there's a B pillar policy.
Yes, gotcha.
Because it doesn't exist. What you're referring to is the DOJ's policy on use of force on a vehicle, and that's not relevant in this situation. It's not a fleeing vehicle. When you perceive a threat as a threat towards you, it's no longer a fleeing vehicle. It's an act of aggression.
All right.
Okay, so you do realize I'm talking about before the vehicle drives away. He should have never been there, right? That is what the B pillar policy.
So
is.
you do not get to adjudicate what an officer can and can't do, and you do not get to just floor the gas because someone's standing in front of you. That you don't get to do that.
I'm not saying that you do. Again, I conceded that she did so many wrong things in that. Right? That's not what we're arguing.
And if you
what
put
I'm
somebody
arguing is that these officers, had they just been utilizing their training, which tells them not to get in front of a fucking vehicle, he would not have needed to shoot her.
Oh, yeah. So officers have never stepped in front of any vehicles thinking that it's a
and
safe
for the
situation.
most part, they have been shown to not have been a justified shot.
Really? So what was that video with the Jeep where the officer was standing directly in front of the Jeep and she was killed? And it was the person was charged with homicide, and that the shooting was ruled as
because
justified?
that person was doing something illegal.
Oh, It's almost like two wrongs don't make a right. So
I didn't say they did. What I'm telling
the little
you,
scuff up in policy that you want to point to does not rise to the level of a law, first of all, and it does not
and
have
the
any.
little freaking her being in the middle of the street doesn't rise to her being shot. So again,
It's called an
them
escalation
not
of
being in
force.
front of the B pillar. Monty, listen to me.
I
for a
have
second.
listened.
No, you
Can I
haven't.
say my point? You've talked the B pillar to death because you think it's some linchpin in your argument, and I'm undoing it. It's not a linchpin in your argument. It is irrelevant to the point. It is irrelevant. The answer to your point that you're making is not, oh, he was unsafe, so he just has to take getting run over. That's not how that works. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. So it's a justified shooting.
No, it's not.
Okay.
All right then.
It's not a just. Go ahead and try. Go ahead and try to pull that on a cop and see what happens to you.
All right, let's go ahead and get over to the next video because now we get done with
Cop
Christian.
shouldn't have been there. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, so every cop that's in front of that vehicle should never be in. So when they pin a vehicle in, and go over the front of the hood, there shouldn't.
And
That
all
was-
right,
that
there,
was
time.
rude.
Both debaters go back to your corners and prepare for the next round. Okay, are we good?
That was rude as hell. You cut me off as I'm making a point.
Monty.
But let him go on and on and on unopposed.
I said stop, and nobody wanted to stop, so I had to interject.
Just kick him
I was
out.
letting you.
He
I was
said his
letting you
piece. I
guys
want to say
go
my piece
on.
now.
I was letting you guys go on, so I wasn't trying to be rude. So sorry if you got that impression, but no, I was just trying to keep the show going. But all right, though, let's get over to the next video here.
B pillar policy. It doesn't even
It's
exist.
important to remember two things. First, it is never good when someone dies. Never, ever. No one wants to see bloodshed, period, full stop. But as Tom Homan pointed out way back in September, right here on this show, Democrats, the legacy media mob, they are inciting this flashpoint with months of hyper, emotional, feigned, moral outrage, Gestapo, Nazi, fascist. Take a look.
I said in March, Sean, back in March, I said if this hateful rhetoric doesn't stop, there's going to be bloodshed. Someone's going to die. I've seen this movie before. I've been doing this for 41 years. It's never been this bad. And of course, the left's all crazy. But there's already been 3 shootings just in Texas. There was a shooting at a CBP facility trying to kill a Border Patrol agent. He picked the wrong facility. That was a SWAT training facility, and they killed him. Then there was another thing just south of Dallas where they attacked an ICE facility, and an officer got shot in the neck. Now we have another assassination, and where an alien died, and it's just. And I'm telling you, I'll say it again: unless the rhetoric stops, it's not over, and it's scary. I'm
Hold on, set
for the men and women.
Yo.
So in the meantime, I went up and I looked up this mythical B pillar policy that he's talking about. They are referring to not reaching into a car. Not that you can't do that. That is a safe practice not to do it. Not that you can't reach in and rip somebody out of their car, because how do you reach in and rip anybody out of their car? It literally says, do not cross the threshold of the B pillar into the vehicle. And there's no policy on it. It is a training tactic employed so that, again, you don't have someone getting drugged by a vehicle. It has nothing to do with where you have to stand during a traffic stop. That's a completely disingenuous point, and I knew it was bullshit when he brought it up, but now I know for sure it's complete bullshit of what he's saying.
All right. On another note,
Damn it, he's not in here? God fucking damn it. Sorry.
Okay, so on another note, I'm going to try to talk over my daughter who decided that now is the perfect time to get mouthy. God, love my kids, but golly, bro, sometimes pick a different time. So Christy Nome needs to go. She's got to go. I can't.
He's ruining the message.
I went back and watched a lot of the hot button topics, and she's real good at opening her mouth, but real bad about saying the right stuff. I mean, if you want to open your mouth about something, how about tell us how those people in Carolina are doing? You know, the ones that got pummeled by was it 1 or 2 hurricanes left without electricity? How are they doing? You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna talk yourself up, go ahead and make sure you're doing good. Her rhetoric has been very short-sighted, and even out of her own mouth, she has stated on multiple occasions that she was just going off of the information she had, and she's being kind of a Pam Bondi. She's being she's being kind of a Pam Bondi, and
100%.
and I think that across both sides of the aisle, that's a fair statement to say.
Yeah.
Bro,
They're on my desk.
Bro, they're starting to call this the administration of bimbos, so it's getting tough out here.
God damn it!
I know, right? I was like, now when they got
you can't even argue with that. You see, that would be a joke. That would be a joke that Jimmy Kimmel could make. That would actually be funny. Not,
right.
MAGA's trying to make it sound like anybody did it but them.
Wild.
So real quick, off topic, there is I posted something. I know a song for when you have a second. I think you might like
God
this
damn
one.
it, Tove. You and your songs. Make a YouTube channel. Post those on there.
All right, let's get back.
I'm not
to
sure.
I'll watch them.
My computer completely said every single thing on my desktop, but that's why I left. Apparently.
Did you hear what I said?
Oh yeah, I heard the whole thing. So again, I am referring to traffic stops. They are trained not to move move past the B pillar
Into the car, not lateral of the car.
Again, the diagram itself also shows the frontal of the vehicle, like in front of the vehicle, not just inside the vehicle, right? So it's, it's past this point where you are in a quote unquote danger zone. And again, so this is my point. So yes, it may just be policy, and I'm not speaking on a specific law, but it is policy. And what I'm talking about, right, is we're referring to the policy of safe procedures and applying it to Barnes versus Felix, understanding the totality of the circumstances.
Wait, can I interject? Hold on. No, gaming.
Hey, I sat backstage and listened to y'all go at it.
I don't want to hear it. I need, this is a conversation and you're throwing it off. I'm not
throwing it off. Hey, Seth, can you mute him? Because I would like to say something.
Damn.
No.
Well,
yes. Me and Parabolic are having a conversation. I cannot effectively communicate my points if I have people co-signing on different points.
I ain't co-signing on nothing. I'm responding to something that he said, and I'm giving a point of clarification. Now, damn it, I've been backstage listening to you two go back and forth for the past 5 minutes. Hold your damn horses. Parabolic, to your point, what that whole matter of procedure thing, do you know where that comes from? Parabolic.
Oh, are you asking me? Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were just gonna tell where it came from. Please, I would love your insight.
So that came from a massive amount of law enforcement officers. It's actually a part of law enforcement course. They actually started teaching the same curriculum to veterans going into the service, to law enforcement service. And that comes from whenever officers would approach cars, it used to be they would just walk straight up to the driver's side window. And what happened is a lot of people would have their hand on their pistol, and as soon as they show up to the window, they blast them. So the B pillar policy isn't law. It's taught so that when you approach a vehicle, if you ever see somebody get pulled over, you'll see the police officer standing kind of off to the side. It gets them out of that kill box.
Yes, and that's actually my point. That's literally my point. So again,
that has nothing to do with crossing in front of a vehicle, though.
It does. That's literally the kill zone that you were referring to.
No, it's not. What he's talking about is in front of the B pillar, which is behind the driver's head. Again, I'm a firefighter. I have to know how to cut the B pillar. It's behind the driver's head. And if you go in front of the B pillar, then you're in the kill box.
Yes.
That's the reason they cross from behind your vehicle now.
So it's not
to walk
just
up
for weaponry, but it's also to keep the officer from being harmed, assuming the vehicle flees. Those are both part of it. It's not just the gun thing. It is also because of fleeing vehicles hurting officers. It is both.
Right. So it's designed to protect the officer, not the criminal.
Yes. No, 100%. 100%. Again, this is what I'm talking about. You apply the safe procedures to Barnes versus Felix. The totality of the circumstances say that if they would have been using the safe procedures, not getting past that B pillar, then he would not have been in that situation to need to shoot. This is what I'm saying.
So that doesn't mean it's an unjustified shoot. Policing by nature is a dangerous job. You can do things, you can make recommendations to not make it as dangerous, but it is a dangerous job. That's why they're given guns. In fact, I'll draw a contrast that I was trying to draw before gaming interrupted me. DOT policy says that in an ambulance, I have to be buckled in at any time the vehicle is moving. How practical do you actually think that is? Because I can tell you right now, I need to get on either side of the patient. How do I get on either side of the patient without unbuckling?
I believe that should be a two-person job at that point.
I actually
It's not
have
a two-person job. You work with what you have. So again, you can
But do you
armchair
not agree
quarterback
with-
things.
You would be safer with two people, so you didn't have to move back and forth, and you could be
Again, theoretically, you can theorize and you can armchair
and again,
quarterback.
This is what I'm talking about the safety. I'm talking about the safety of everyone in the situation. Again, if the officers would have been safe, everyone would have walked out of that situation alive. This is what I'm talking about.
So that doesn't make it not a justified shooting because they violated a policy that you have conjured up in your head.
So hold up, let Toad
Hold
go.
on, I
and
didn't
then
just
I'm
conjure
So
it up in my head.
I want to say something here, guys. So let me, with the your two-person in the ambulance policy, I literally was just had an ambulance ride to the hospital. There was two paramedics, one for driving, and there's one that was back there with me. He was definitely having to. I know, but here's the problem with that. They don't have many EMS and EMTs.
About 90% of them.
They don't have enough staff, volunteer or paid or otherwise, to do three people. So it's like, saying that it should have two people in the back, that's unfortunately
Wishful
unrealistic for every,
So
let me get into
So you're saying it's unrealistic that Jonathan Ross couldn't have just
No. Parabolic. Let me
Don't
get in here and say something. Let me get in here and say something real quick. Parabolic. Here's the problem with the totality of circumstances and don't put yourself in the kill box. There's also another concept that a lot of people overlook, and it's called the dynamic circumstance theory. And so basically what it is in a static circumstance, what rules or policies apply? If that circumstance changes for any reason, what new rules or policies apply? I even pointed this out on the video. I said it wasn't a good shoot, and then we rolled it back a few times, and I pointed out the moment she put her car in reverse, all of the previous assumptions went out the window because legally speaking, at that point, that vehicle is now a weapon. She had people on both sides of the car, and there were people behind the car. So now she's putting people in a dangerous situation. You know what laws apply there? Reckless endangerment, attempted of involuntary manslaughter. There's a guy with his hand in the car trying to forcibly remove her because legally she did not comply with a lawful order. You don't get to just not comply with lawful orders. The law enforcement officer also went in across the front of the vehicle because at that point she was still backing up. So if you think about it, when she was reversing and he was crossing in front, he was
That's the safest place to be.
Right. He was taking the safest route. When she accelerated was right when he was about to get out from in front of the vehicle.
The safest and the fastest route.
Right. That's why.
Let me ask you this question, Parabolic. Since you're an expert on law enforcement now, where is the safe way to get from one side of the vehicle to the other? Is it the front or the back? Because that was his goal, and that he's allowed to do that. So which way is he supposed to go? In front of or behind the vehicle? Or over it or under it? Because those are the only four ways you can go. The armchair quarterback has nothing to say.
Wait, is he even in here? Yes, he is.
He's in here.
All right. Well, like probably something wrong with his mic or
It's
something.
it keeps freaking resetting my mic. I'm not exactly sure why. It's probably because I have multiple devices. It doesn't matter. Anyways, so do you want me to tell you what I would have done had I been Jonathan Ross in that situation?
I want you to tell me which way of him going in front of or behind, over or under to effect an arrest on the driver's side while he is positioned on the passenger side. Which way should he go?
I believe that he should not have pulled his vehicle past that D pillar. So he should have stayed behind the vehicle with his vehicle.
What are you talking about, Parabolic? I'm lost.
Again,
the situation didn't call for that. The situation didn't call for that at that time. So no, you are in the situation. You are in the situation. Which way should he have gone? In front of or behind?
Totality of circumstances does not.
No. I'm asking you a question about the situation that he was in front of or behind. It's not a BS question. That's what happened.
It is a BS question because guess what? I don't think he should have pulled that vehicle in front of her in the first place. Therefore, he should not have been in front of her in the first place.
Parabolic, I'm going to go ahead and stop you right there. That's actually an illegitimate stance because in the event of a possibly fleeing vehicle, law enforcement does have and will use the authorization of boxing in. It is called
in requires multiple vehicles.
No, it doesn't.
That's why there was two vehicles. That's why there was two vehicles.
Why is it called boxing in if it's one vehicle, my guy?
So let me explain the tactic of boxing in.
I understand if hold on. I understand.
He's a police officer now. Remember, guys.
Just 1 second. I understand the tactic if they are in a parking space where they cannot drive forward, and you are a single vehicle boxing them in from.
Negative. That's not how boxing in works. Let me explain to you how it works. Boxing in requires at least two vehicles blocking, providing.
Therefore, he didn't box her in because it was one vehicle, my guy.
It was two. It was a Ford F-150.
Did you not see the fucking
well behind her?
There.
That was
wasn't boxing in if they're pulling well behind her.
They can't pull up on the sideway. They also have a duty to preserve public safety.
That is my point, my guy. So Jonathan Ross's
she is a risk to public safety.
No, stop. Jonathan Ross's vehicle should have been where that second vehicle, quote unquote, was, right? Then he approaches from a safe angle to then confront her.
So we're gonna have to roll the video back.
What he did do was walk around her vehicle several times while it was on, while the key was in the ignition and the vehicle was running. And that is
did not pose a threat in that moment.
Are you sure you can't guarantee anything in a situation which is possibly life-threatening? A vehicle.
So in that case, with that logic, no police officer should ever pull anybody over because it could potentially be dangerous.
They should pull them over safely.
Oh, how do you safely do a dangerous job, Parabolic?
The safest you possibly can.
Oh, got
One of the safest things you can do is not walk in front of a vehicle that can then barrel you down. Again,
actually, it's still on her.
Doing that.
Wait.
Again, I want this to be known because I think everybody is making some sort of false assumption that I'm giving her completely faultless.
No, I'm not doing that.
Or whatever.
When you say it's not a justified shoot, that's what you're doing.
No, I'm not doing that personally.
No.
Parabolic, let me ask you something.
I'm still speaking, so let me finish my thought, okay?
Okay.
So multiple things can be true at once, right? They can have pulled her over legally, right? She could have done illegal things in the situation, and they could have been acting unsafely, therefore rendering that shot unjustified. All four of those things.
Acting unsafely does not render the shot unjustified. You fucking moron. That's what you're making the false equivalency of.
And you concede the point that all four of those could be true.
No, I can't because it's not true.
Therefore, I'm done arguing with you.
Cool.
And all righty, guys, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night on that one. I will be back. Well, let's see, 7:30 in the morning to give you guys another show. So we're gonna start on an early note tomorrow. So,
wait,
man,
what? Killing it early?
Yeah, we're killing it early, bro. I gotta head out
because Parabolic can't admit that people shouldn't get run over.
I'm weak. and we'll see if we can run it a little
Monty's
longer
just
later on.
A complete BS liar and an a-hole.
I'm a complete BS liar, yeah, except you lied about the first policy you brought up, and then tried to equivocate it to him being unsafe.
So,
That
so
means he
did
can't
Backyard
shoot.
not just also talk about the exact same policy that I did?
It's the
No,
exact same,
I didn't
except
even
you
really get
framed it
to
in a different
expand.
light.
I
You
didn't
lied
even.
about
You
the
at least
policy.
referenced it, or did you?
Hold
not?
up, hold up. Can I get expand on a couple key things before he ends it out? So first of all, the B pillar policy typically involves in routine traffic stops. That's a key.
Which this isn't.
This is key when understanding why that policy was instituted and what was happening at the time. Secondly, what's referred to as boxing in can also be applied to pop-up instances or irregular instances as the policy goes on to state. That basically means that in the event that a scenario would occur which typically wouldn't require a conventional boxing in by 3 or more vehicles, personnel do serve to some degree as a method of quote boxing in, and they at that point have a law are basically allowed to yank an individual out of a vehicle. This is one of the reasons why when police chase happen and the person crashes out and there's 2 police cars on the scene, they immediately go to secure the vehicle and secure the person, which usually leads to foot races. Bringing me to my next point. The moment she threw it in reverse, she was a flight risk and a public safety hazard. That whole standing behind the vehicle mantra flies out the window, especially when you consider there is a law enforcement officer with his hand actively inside of the vehicle and one who is trying to cross in the safest manner from the other side of the vehicle, doesn't matter where. He could have had the vehicle pulled right in front of Renee Good. The moment she pulled forward, I would wager the moment she would have pulled forward, if he was parked directly in front of her, she definitely would have killed him due to pinning, which usually results into internal injuries, including death. We're
Like
talking
a broken pelvis, broken femur, fractured split
paralyzed from
liver.
the waist down. Let's keep it
Do
a
you
buck.
agree that an officer doing that would probably be unsafe?
No. Oh my
No.
god. Oh my
There
god.
is an
You don't
expectation.
believe
So
that a
hold
officer
up. I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done.
untraditionally in front of
So
a
hold
vehicle?
up. Hold up.
Go ahead.
The B pillar policy also takes into assumption, keyword assumption, that one, the area is clear, and 2, that the driver or operator of said vehicle is in a stationary position. In this case, it was not.
Because if
All right.
as soon as she backed up, if he were standing in front of the B pillar, he's no longer behind the B pillar. So what do you have to say then?
So hold. So whenever he pulls to her, she is in a stationary position, correct? She was not moving the vehicle?
Exactly.
So therefore, that B pillar should have applied then, correct?
There was already officers over there.
In a traffic stop, if this were a traffic stop, which it is not.
Which it turned
Is this a
into,
traffic stop?
That's what they were doing to her. They were trying to pull her over for having impeded traffic.
No. Pulling somebody over requires the vehicle to be moving. If they're stopped and they pull up to you, that's not pulling somebody over. That's detaining somebody.
Sorry, detainment, right? Of a
It applies to
stationary
traffic stops.
vehicle.
That's not a traffic stop. It's an ICE investigation, and she's impeding it.
It's a detainment of a stationary vehicle.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and call it a night on that one. And you know what, man? Now that we're start having more guests up here, and I'm gonna have to start time limiting y'all responses so everybody can get a chance to respond. That's how we're gonna do this debate.
Yeah, it's called. If you want to, it's called "Kiss My Ass." I thought it'd be perfect for this group.
Yeah, and we're gonna do like 3 to 5 minute responses. Let me know what you guys think. Personally, I'm talking to you guys because I don't want to like limit too much of what you guys got to say, but we do got to start bringing down the response time to at least like a 3 to 5 minutes. So we're not spending.
Someone goes in monologues and then gets mad if someone fucking interjects. Yeah.
Yes, pretty much. But all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and close it out on this one. Since Trump is getting things, I guess, heated up with Iran, we're gonna close out on this one. Appreciate the support, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Drop 3 bombs at the end of discussion. Fuck, I ain't running from nothing. If you see me running, I'm running for president. Missiles on missiles, you know how we coming. Tell all your men we gon' blow up the country. I see you tweeting online, you a sucker. One more threat and I'm pressing that button. They trying to impeach me, they know that I'm thugging. I'm getting locations, I'm dropping 100. They sending that shit, they get stopped in the sky. Said one more thing, everybody gon' die. Since 6 of the men and they making it hot. I don't need no permission to blow up your spot. I don't need no permission to make you a target. You must not heard what happened to Hey Barack. They must not heard what happened to Bin Laden. 6 men deep in everybody body. If we get it started, nigga, we ain't stop. I take them to World War like I'm Johnson. They done let a real slime in the off. Stop talking about nukes, you ain't even got it. I won't say your name, but I can't pronounce it. Fuck is it, Masou? Masao?